Yeah, good. So this is just the continuation. Yeah, karibuni sana. Bwana, it is good. Nimeshukuru sana. Oh, it's good tu amefika na kutoweka. Yeah, so this one is the una click link unajikuta kwa our studio. So yeah, hiyo ni ya. Oh, okay, sorry, wacha niweke link. Mhm. So sorry. So I think hiyo ni link ya studio. Good. Kiprila ameingia, akina Wangila, I know she alikuwa amesema. Mhm. So karibuni. So sijui bwana Kipril, sijui kama watu wanaona hii video yetu. Wacha
Let me see. Let me check.
I
Let me
want
check
to...
on your channel. You can see the total number of views.
I'm already niko online
It
sahi.
shows that you're live.
Yeah. So
No,
let
you're
me
there.
just...
You've got 12 views. No, introduce the show. You've got 12 views.
Yeah.
Start your introduction. We can see you. We can see you.
Oh, okay, ni sawa.
We can see you. Just
Wacha
introduce the show.
niwekee watu link hapa. Good. Okay, ni sawa. Good. So I think nimeweka link hiyo pande ingine. So karibuni sana. So bwana Kip, leo umeona Gachagua. So I think today there are two things I want us to discuss, or maybe, and also if people want to expound that bracket, they can expound. So one thing which I want us to touch today is Gachagua on the right path to Kenyanhood? Like, do we think like Gachagua is now on the right path? Is he fighting for the Kenyans? That is one. And then we have also started seeing some anti-Ruto rhetorics in Western, especially Salasia. There was that speech, that explosive speech from Salasia. Do you think Salasia was speaking for majority of people in Western, or Salasia is just being rebellious? So those are the things which I would love to hear from you. Amidst other things which are happening, especially like even in the Kalenjin land, because I've been speaking with the Kalenjin people, I'm hearing some Kalenjin people are also feeling restless because they don't understand what they are protecting. Nasikia kama sasa kuna mkare nimesikia akiongea pahali akiuliza tunachunga nini. So I don't know, keep na ukisikia mkare akitumia hiyo word ni nini tunachunga. Unajua wakare ni watu wa mang'ombe na nini. Keep, you know that word. So kuna mkare nimesikia pahali akiuliza ni nini tunachunga hapa. So keep, I don't know, have you heard of such rhetorics?
See, no, you see, no, okay. Let me just explain to you, Jero, yeah. First of all, what we saw in Central, don't believe that Kumera happened in 2022. It didn't happen. There was nothing there for them. They didn't feel nothing. And it's the same with Kaleja. It is whereby, yes, kuna mtu yetu ako huko, but there's nothing for us now. So I think there's going to be a lot of voter apathy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whereby, yes, it's there. but we don't really care about him. Especially with the Kipsigis community, yeah. Forget about the others. Kipsigis, a bit of the Nandi, which are his people. The culprits are the Elgeo Marakwet, the Elgeo, no, not the Elgeo Marakwet, the Keo Marakwet people are a bit confused. They're still following this, what you call royalty nonsense or dynastic garbage that we see amongst our people. So, unfortunately, he can still pretend or try and give views or visions that a particular region is actually respect. Like politics is about visualization. So even when you saw that Homa Bay thing, it's not like they're coming to support Ruto or they're happy to see Raila. That was an event that happens every year. It's a football tournament. Of course, there's going to be a lot of people. And it's an event. So a few speeches here, a few cheers here, doesn't actually mean that he's popular in Nyanza. Here at the moment. I don't care about the DCI. I don't care. At the moment, I'm in Eldoret, and we've got a very large. Alex will explain to you that when it is done. There's a large portion of Kisi, Luya, and Luo people here. They don't care about what Raila is saying. They don't care what Ruto they're saying. They want them out. But unfortunately, we don't know who is going to pick up that. The Kisis here are saying, let a Matiang. Let's have Matiang here. That's what they're saying. That is like the one funny thing that Ruto is trying to do, where he's brought a case for Matiang, which was brought in by a bishop down there in Kisi Nyanza, to Matiang when he said he had already talked to lobby groups to help him vie for 2027, meaning that Ruto is trying to derail Matiang's candidacy. I'm not pro, by the way, I'm not pro Matiang. Me, I'm still Martha Karua, but I'm just trying to show you the stupidity of Ruto. Now he's Ataruka Mwaka for the last, since he was DP, when Ruto started becoming DP, he's been celebrating his New Year's with a crusade in Eldoret, but this time he's coming to, I think, Nyamira County, if I'm not wrong, and that is where he's going to celebrate his New Year's, or Kisi, maybe Kisi, because that's where there's a state lodge there, and that is where he's going to celebrate. So he's trying to, in double quotes, pick up Raila Molo Odinga's what do you call it, stronghold. But if Matiang comes there, I'm sorry, there's nothing he can do. And I hope Alex can confirm this for me when he comes in. DAP Kenya is also part of Matiang is part of DAP, and when the time comes right, he is going to popularize it in Nyanza, in Kisi Nyanza, which would mean Western and Kisi region is out of Ruto's hands. Ruto has no luck, and it's a subsidiary of Jubilee, meaning that it's got Uhuru's hands in that, meaning that Uhuru is part of the financing for that. So I don't know if that old man doesn't get the what do you call it, the AUC, or if Matiang's cases in AECC about corruption falls over, Ruto is done, because tumeongea juu ya right now what you talk about Rigathi Gachagua. Bro, Central is gone, completely gone. What I see Gachagua as is a gatekeeper. So he's a gatekeeper of Central. Just the same way Ruto was a kind of a gatekeeper for Central, whereby hata kama ako Nyeri, akiwa anywhere, what Gachagua is doing right now is making the mountain strong with him, and then later on form an alliance with maybe Kalonzo or maybe with Kina Eugene Amwalo, whoever, or even Omtate, it doesn't matter. He's got the option to do that. Even my party leader here, Martha Karua, they can form an alliance. Me, you and Josie Kunta talk, but I don't think she's going to do that. But there's an option, meaning that Central is completely locked out of Ruto. Ruto knows that. You no longer see him going to Central. He tried his last chip by inviting Central bishops. But lately, you've not seen him traveling around. You've been seeing him in Nyanza, coming to the Masai land, to Narok, to talk about tribalistic, nilotic envisions, where he's telling the Masais that Mzee hajapata kitu ya EAC. So we're going to unite as Nilots, and then we fight again. Again, tribalism. Ruto has got this tribalistic nonsense. So unite with the Masais, Luos, and Kalenjins, which I think is a pipe dream. But he can stimulate or simulate that fact. That is what I'm afraid of. He can try and pretend that that is happening. Acha niache Alex ongea. Happy Sabbath, my brother. I know it's belated. Yes. Nimemaliza. Finished.
Sawa Budi, go ahead. Umekaribishwa na Akip. Am I on ama ni Budi freeze kidogo?
He's frozen a bit.
I think it's both sides. I think it's my side and your side too.
We can hear you now, bro.
We can hear you. Go ahead. I know there is a lot to talk about.
Yeah, switch off the camera, at least it'll be better.
I'll try. If it doesn't, then I'll switch off. I think for a longest time we've been emotional, and we refuse to sit down and be topical. Take one topic, dissect it, and sensitize the whole population of currently what is ailing our country. Now, if you look at the country as a whole, and I don't know why I'm forgetting this man, his name, this guy that gave Ruto his first contract, this guy that told Ruto that he killed Jacob Juma. What was his name? This guy from Western Kakamega, the guy who was Youth for Kano 92. He has a blog. Yeah, Jirongo. I was watching actually Jirongo, and for some reason Jirongo has come out as one of the few activists who know how to tackle Ruto to the core, because he realized the problem me and you are having of being emotional, not being able to calm down and deal with Ruto intellectually. And I've come to notice that Ruto has not galvanized power. Ruto is one of the few presidents who, even after 2 years, has not been able to truly harness power and be able to deal with the country as a president, because he's having a lot of fears. And those fears have made him run amok to a point that he is buying anything and everything that he can get. And you can see the whole country how he's making his cabinet. He is one of the few president. If you look at, he wants to change the system to favor him because of having a lot of years. Never have we had a president unless it was a coup or it was a military takeover. In a democratic society, we've never had a president who wants to change the chief justice, the police, or the police commissioner, the army guy, and the parliament. I mean, look at what Ruto has done in 2 years. totally that the army now belongs to him, in quotes, not in reality. He's changed to his person, and the police the same thing, and the intelligence the same thing, parliament the same thing, and the ESCC the same thing. But still, with all that, you can imagine in Jiro, the guy still has fears. Tell me, how many fences do you need in your house for you to be comfortable that now I think I can sleep quietly? So with all this, even buying of the MPs, hata kuvuta Gachagua to have his own deputy president, we see a man who has a lot of fears. Now, there was a man, I don't know, and you should be watching this man more than Obina Oga and all these other people. This boy called Dr. Kingori, he had a young man who had come from the US and investing. He's a Sudanese who is investing in Kenya in terms of real estate. He said one very potent quote. He said, "For you to change Africa, you need two things. You need a visionary leadership or a visionary population." Then he said, Kenya is the only country in Africa that has never had a visionary president, but the populace, the population of Kenya is so visionary that no leader can come and hoodwink them the way they want, the way Museveni does, the way anybody does in Africa. Like Kenyans are able to come out of it easily and be able to actually destabilize what we call the corridors of power or the establishment. Because if you look at what Kenya is doing with everything, even the US supporting this man, we taking our soldier, our policemen to Haiti and him getting the backbone of the US with all the money that he has borrowed, with all the powers. Still, Kasongo only, the theme of Kasongo makes a man run mad. So he calls this a revolutionary, visionary population. Okay? And I cannot disagree with him. So where we are, I think we had been conquered by one man into personality called politics, and I think we are getting out of it slowly. For a long time, we believed our savior is going to be Raila Amolo Odinga. And I think we've come to a point that we've realized it is not so. And that is why we have disagreed with some of our brothers vehemently, because some of us have seen the light, but these people are using dubious ways to steal, protect the man that, oh, he's old, and so, he needs this thing. Or sometimes they tell us that, he knows what he's doing. If he tells you that your wife is pregnant, you better believe it. No, I think the visionary populace, once it decides and sees the way forward, I think that is it. Now, the question is, all of a sudden, we keep on running to Morara. We keep Kasimuel, Matiang'i, Martha Karua, Okiya Mtata, all these things. When are we going to stop this and galvanize our power to one center so that we attract what we want, not us to be attracted? Because what we are missing is that visionary leader who is willing to sacrifice for us, but we will never get one of it because it looks like the system, the way it is, has always nurtured leadership through ways that does not reflect our own core values. So there is continuous self-sabotage, political self-sabotage within us, because still with us, while we are getting out of Odingaism, while we are getting out of Uhuruism, while we don't want Kasongoism, okay, or must go, we still have this nailed narrow path that maybe it's Matiang'i, maybe it's, so we need to come with a structure that is so formidable, that cuts off all cabals. And we dictate in terms of principle and ideology who can attract us, and that should be our base. Because what Ruto fears most is what I can call, in a loose word, I know you are a conservative, but what Ruto fears is not conservative, because conservatism in Africa is poverty. It's not like here whereby conservatives are rich. Conservative in Africa is poverty. Okay, that's a fact. Okay, so we are able to use religion easily to hoodwink them. Okay, so what Ruto fears is liberal intelligentsia. Okay, liberal intelligentsia, than like the one you have. You can disagree with Uhuru and agree with Gachagua, even though from the beginning you never supported Gachagua. That is what I call liberal intelligentsia, because you are attracted to a narrative that is putting this man down. So for me, I think we shouldn't be hyped up every time we see a new creature coming. Oh, Matiang'i. Oh, Martha Karua. Oh, Kio Mtata. No, we ought now to understand that I think there are narratives, small but very effective narratives. Ruto must go. He changes his cabinet. He changes his police commissioner. He dissolves his cabinet. He says, I concede. I mean, we have to realize the power in us that makes this person don't sleep. And that power has shown now that even abduction of a man that makes a mere cartoon, that's power. Okay? If I can make chapo of Kasongo and make somebody not sleep, I'm powerful. I'm very powerful and I'm very proud. Actually, yesterday I made a Kasongo chapo and I ate it. Why? Because I realized how it has power in itself. So what I'm saying is, we should not be talking about personalities anymore, because the problem with personality is they cut deals. And that is how our politics have been nurtured, unfortunately. Because if you look, Patrick Lumumba, after the IEBC case and the Supreme Court election case, I hated this man. But somehow they always say, even a clock that doesn't work twice a day, it's right. So I was listening to him the other day. And this is where our politics, Iliaribika, keep. Say, when you look at all AU chairs, the manner they were campaigning, it was so surreal. It was so diplomatic. It was so, Pan-Africanism. But the way we have seen Ruto and Raila take the dirty politics of Kenya to AU, African Union, and the dubious way of launching, going to these countries, shows in itself that corruption is. And the worst of it is that we've been able to corrupt even the current AU chair, invite him to Kilgoris, sit down with Ruto, and that is the dirty politics we are playing. So you can understand the kind of enemy we have, that he is saturating our dirty politics throughout Africa now. And if we keep underrating him, he's going to succeed, because what we did, we underrated him during the election. We underrated him in the DP. Uhuru underrated him. Instead of doing what he did to Gachagua, we refused to do to him. Uhuru thought it was a walk-off. We underrated him to become a president, and we thought it was easy to take him out. We refused to accept that he can buy Raila. He has bought him. We never thought he could buy Uhuru. He has bought him, and still there are people who are refusing about it. And now what is he doing? He's eyeing AU, and we are still in denial. Yet we have this simple power of making the man go mad and have sleepless nights. So that will be my introduction.
Yeah, Alex Bude, today you have presented in power. Maybe before I go, there is somebody called Indomitable. Can we be able to see you a little bit so that we can allow you to the studio? Not in a bad way, is to make sure that we ring fence our studio. Ama kuna mtu anajua Indomitable? Ama Indomitable, please. Indomitable, please open your camera. Tuone wewe ni nani, alafu tukuingize please.
You will not appear on the studio. You will not appear on the studio.
No, nimemuona is wacha nimuingize, amejileta. Okay, ndiye huyo. Yeah, that's okay. So okay, Elect, I think you are
camera.
Okay, you can close your camera if you don't want to be seen.
Thank you.
Okay, ni sawa. Needed to, we had to confirm anyway. Unajua, there are those people who are not comfortable to be seen and we don't want to push them. So as long as, so Bwana Bud, let me ask you a question. Can you help me understand? Do you think, without saying that people to follow Gachagua, do you think through Gachagua, and now you can now Gachagua is now trying to look for other people. Do you think through Gachagua we can change the political narrative, or us as Kenyans we are the ones who will have to design our own narrative now of viongozi wakuje? Because that's what you have said. You have said we need to have a formidable force which will be attractive even to the leaders to come to us. So are we going to look at what Gachagua is doing? How are the public going to relate with all these forces which are coming up, these political forces? That's what I didn't get.
You see, I think it's Shazoo who says, I don't even know Shazoo, but I think it's being used in the political platform a lot, that the enemy of your enemy is your friend. Until you finish your enemy, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. And that's how politics act. Remember politics in definition. And let me say this, the solution is found in the problem. Always, the solution, if you are powerless, the solution is to have power. Okay, in a nutshell. Okay, so by definition, what is politics? The fight for power. Okay, so when you have that power, you're able to achieve what you think or propel the ideas that you really believe are progressive. So for now, if Gachagua, at any means, is helping us achieve that, we cannot deny it. Unfortunately, by saying that is, even Raila has not always been a good guy. It's because he was helping us in the narrative towards this more happier union that we thought of having, economic freedom in our lifetime. What EFF always talk about. So for now, if Gachagua is able to come out, in a presser, in less than 30 minutes, people respond to it and say, we are not part of it, but we are going to see it. If Gachagua is able to reveal that a cousin of a prominent person is operating from a certain house and the political establishment go berserk, I think it is helping the narrative to help to stop abduction and at the same time enhance political freedom, which we need at this particular time to cut the tail of Ruto. So we should never forget the evils of Gachagua, but we should not project it at now more than the evils of Ruto, because the person who has the tools of power is Ruto. So Gachagua does not have any tools of power right now to do to us anything. But if there is a way he can help us achieve what we want, we must welcome him. And I think he's doing it in one way or the other. And that is why there's a lot of regrets within the corridors of power. Okay? And that is why even, this entire security, it still has some of the government, whatever pecs not because they want him. They want to control him, or they want to know what he is doing because they fear him. So Gachagua is a powerhouse that we need to destabilize the system. Because I think when these people came to power, they were so cozy, okay? And there are things Gachagua is privy of that me and you, as citizens and individual, we may not be able to. So when Gachagua says this man ABCD, obviously you can connect the dots to form the line. That is what Gachagua did in Nyalenda. So Gachagua knows very well, as a deputy president, what they did to what? To the people of Kisumu during the demonstration. So for me, I agree that we must use him, but we should never elevate him to the presidency again, because we know this man, what he's capable of doing. But along the path of the road, for us to achieve what we want, if he is needed, we must utilize him at every angle. If he is the uniting factor of the mountain. You see, let me tell you something, Njiru. And Anikipa has spoken about, Ruto going to Kisi. And the reason he's going there is very simple. I mean, the Kisis are uniting first and foremost for the first time, and not on the basis of what we used to unite, maybe when we united under Nyachai. It is out of sheer patriotism, and that giving Ruto a lot of sleepless nights, because the meeting between Matiang'i, Morara, Onyonka, Amenya, Obure, Simbarati, and all these people, when it happened, I think it threw him off his, okay? So, but let me tell you, the two communities that know what power is and respect power are the Kikuyus. No, the three communities that knows what power is, understands what power is, and have wielded power in that country are three: Kalenjin, Kikuyus, and Luos. And they respect leadership. Let me tell you today, Mr. Njiru, you don't get a saint to bring leadership to a community. In fact, traditionally, we have had horrendous actors who actually bring leadership in a community. If you investigate some of our leaders, from Raila, from Nyachai, okay, from Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta himself, without being merciful to them, you will realize that they have had some acts that are unpalatable. But when a community wants leadership, let me put, for instance, the Kikuyus. The Kikuyus knew Uhuru was a good drunkard like me. Okay? He will drink seriously. But because Michuki said, mukitaka kuongea na Wakikuyu lazima mpitie kwa nani? Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. For leadership to be found to the Kikuyu people, they realized a uniting factor was who? Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And through that, nobody foresaw that Uhuru could even be a president 2 terms after Kibaki was a president in 2 terms. But the Kikuyus understood what leadership is, took it, and they again ruled for 10 years after ruling Kenya for 10 years. Why? Because they understood what leadership is. And today I will say, and I've said it before, Mr. Njiru, PK, who is my friend, not Stone PK, the other PK from Chicago, once told me, the reason the Kambas are holding on to Kalonzo is not because Kalonzo is the best leader. And this is what Kikuyus must listen. And I'm talking to Kikuyus here. It's not because Kalonzo is the best. When you have 30 cows and you have only one bull that is almost dying, do you castrate that bull or do you slaughter it? You don't. You leave it there just in case it gets honey and fertilizes the other. The posterity will continue just in case. So you cannot kill the only bull you have that it's a thief Now you have 30 cows, you have one bull, you started this bull, when it was the he bull of the whole bulls, it went and stole from a neighbor, it went and stole from his brother, it went, that's pettiness. Whether he stole from his brother, whether he did all this corruption, if he's the glue, if he's the uniting factor of the Kikuyu, take him. Take him. In the cases we say, nyokonyo konavo morogi, navo moivi, navegatong. Your mother is your mother, whether she's a witch, whether she's a thief, or whether she's blind. That is your mother. So when we talk about Gachagua and the Kikuyu uniting factor, if the Kikuyu will find a uniting factor that is able to give Ruto sleepless nights, if it is Gachagua, take it. Period. Don't think about it.
Okay, thank you Bwana Budi. Nitakuja kwako tena. Let me have Indomitable, sababu naona Indomitable anakuja akitoka, so that maybe Amanda. So Indomitable, please you can come so that I can give you a chance. Yeah, so Bwana Keep, as I wait for Indomitable, na maybe utamkaribisha. Can you react to what Budi has said? Because I think
No, unfortunately, it's true. I don't like it, but the truth is painful. The truth is actually very painful.
Maybe Keep, we can allow Indomitable.
We can allow him. We can allow him because he keeps coming in and out. Okay, go ahead.
Indomitable, go ahead. You can open your mic and say. Kuna pali imeandikwa hapo mute, hapo imeandikwa mute ndio unafinya. Okay. Ongea.
Thank you, Mr. Jim Mwaula. For me, Mr. Kamau Kirago. I don't want to talk much. I just want to listen. Maybe I will just have some comments of that. So allow me not to talk now. Allow me just to listen, then I will just give my feedback later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Indomitable, for that. But I know you are following Kenyan politics, so maybe Keep, so that we allow Bwana Indomitable that chance to intelligently
a couple of questions.
listen. Yeah, so maybe you can react to what Budi has gorged out.
Yeah. No, what Alex has just said now is painful to hear, but it's true. If you think about why the Kalenjins actually went with Ruto, it's not that they like him. There is a section of the Talai there's a section of the Kalenjin community called the Talai who actually christen a leader for ourselves. And half of it is between the Nandi and the Kipsigis community. And yeah, he bullied himself into it, and he got it. For me, I actually wish that Isaac Ruto was, because Isaac Ruto is very revered by the Kisi community. I think Alex can confirm that. I would have preferred that Isaac Ruto was the one that would have taken the mantle of the Kalenjin kingpin. So what he's saying is true. It's not that Kalonzo is the best. It's not. It's true. It's not like Gachagua is the best. It's not like Raila is the best. But yeah, that is what we veer towards as a people. That is who we are. And that is a fact. So Gachagua at the moment, I don't like him, but even the way he speaks, when you see Gachagua speaks, he speaks with his mouth, pointing his mouth. You can see he looks up with discontent with the people that he's addressing, as if he's above all of us. I don't like his mannerism as he speaks, but the friend of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So at the moment, I just want Gachagua to have the gatekeeping of the mountain. And then when the right time comes, I hope we have a formidable leader that will actually take over and we can vote for him. Because that right now you can see at the moment, Ruto is panicking. Ruto is panicking. Amenda, like what I didn't even know that what Bundi is saying, that leaders from Nyanza met. Kisi Nyanza went to meet, and I'm happy that a Gen Z was invited in the table for once. We have Morara there. That's a beautiful thing. Congratulations to Morara that they all met from different political visions. Some from Jubilee, some from ODM, independent, and so on and so forth. That is good. You know, Simba Rati, Matiang, Morara, and so on and so forth. That is good. So for me, until we can actually break that cycle, it is indeed true. We cannot hide that fact that we're still relying on old bulls. The day Kenyans will be independent, by the couriers from the Gen Z community, Mweka hapo tu. I don't know why I didn't speak. I'm in one of their groups. So it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that we still have to rely on that. And that's a painful truth that we have to say. Tulikuwa nasema back in the day, baba akisema left, tunaenda left. Baba akisema right, tunaenda right. It is still the mentality we have right now. Until we crack off that, Njeru, we are still in limbo as Kenyans. I would like the other two contributors to go ahead before we fire up the studio. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, fine. I want to welcome Kura. Maybe Kura, you can just keep your camera close if you are not comfortable. So, but this is our studio. We are talking about the issues which are happening in Kenya currently. Maybe as you enter, I know you have been listening to our discussion, so you know. So, can you help us to understand? And by the way, Merry Christmas. I hope you are good with your family. So go ahead. So tell us, what do you think about Kenyan politics now? Do you think we are somewhere? Do you think Gachagua could be the thing which will make Ruto maybe crash? Go ahead.
Thank you very much for welcoming me. Merry Christmas, everyone. Here at Nairobi, it's very hard. Life has been hard since you have seen how vijana are being abducted here and there, day and night. And what I can see, Gachagua will only help us to get the movement and to muzzle up in Mount Kenya. That is, like you can see, each time Gachagua is doing so much to make sure that William does not enter Mount Kenya in any means. That way, by 2027, Gachagua could help us so much to get those votes from Mount Kenya so that they cannot go back to the current president. And also, on the issue of someone like Kalonzo Musyoka, I can see Kalonzo won't help Kenya that much because you see these guys are the same. How you can see how Raila, Ruto, and now the Uhuru, they are all together right now. They are talking the same thing. It's like they are meeting behind the curtains or behind the bars. They are meeting and they have their own agendas and their own issues, of which we can say it's like they are all the dynasties. They know each other. They have been for so long in this system together, and they have been working so hard to maintain on their personal issues and their personal gains, not the mwananchi wa kawaida gain. So for me, I feel anything which can help Kenya, it's bringing up the new brand, someone who has not been that much in politics, someone who has not been so that deep in Kenyan politics. Maybe someone like, if you can see someone like Matiang'i, he has not been there so much. He has not mingled with those guys so much that he can be held up by them in some ways. But if we go with all those old folks, those who have been there for so long, now we won't be going anywhere. Another thing, there is this issue of these young guys, like the Gen Zs, the millennials. Talking so much won't help, but what will help them is only that if they get the IDs and they get voters card, so that by 2027, the youth are majority. They can wake up very early and do wonders. Because only for us to get a new brand, we also need the new people to vote who has not been voting to vote. I think, Mr. Maura, that is my take.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe to ask you one question, maybe before you exit, or maybe if you are still going to be with here, I'm happy for that. So you said that life in Nairobi is very hard, and you have also talked about our kids needs to get IDs. So is it possible for you connect us the fact that life in Nairobi is very hard, and the majority of people actually who are in Nairobi, I know they are those Gen Zs who have come to look for jobs. So don't you think like that complexity of life could actually push these Gen Zs to get this voters card? Do you think they will see it as an emergency?
Absolutely. Right now, if you see those people who are coming from the universities, those who are from colleges, there are no jobs. And also the retro that one could have done or taken in, like the ones we say in maybe online jobs, what they are being taxed every day. And everything that you try to do, the government is on your neck. They want money from you, even the retro one that you can get. So I think a lot of people have run with this government, and this regime has taught Kenyans a lot of things which they could not have thought of earlier.
Okay, sure. So by that, we can confirm that Kenyans will go and take those voters ID as if it is their last day in life. That's what I think. So maybe Kiora, you can still stay there. Let's engage Bwana Ayaga. So Ayaga, how are you?
I'm very fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So go ahead and address the people as you wish. We are a channel of freedom of speech. You can speak.
Thank you very much. Na you unblock me kwa comment section. Sometimes nataka kuongea hapo najipata uliniblock. So okay, thank you very much. What I'm saying is very simple.
Asieke Raila rhetoric. He can talk, but
who blocked you first of all?
Keeps missing. Alex, ngoja kidogo, wewe nitapatana na wewe. Acheni niongee kidogo. Okay. Aleki ako hapa, sikuwa nimemuona, hata nimesikia tu sauti yake. So what I'm saying is this, very simple. I want to concur with my brother Kirwa, and I think let us just go with the reasoning of Kirwa that what we need to do now as people, we need to bring youth into a light of, let us have an ID and let us register as many as possible, so that when we settle on a candidate come 2027, we are going to vote in unison. This issue of somebody telling these young people that there will be change of regime before 2027, those are the things me I'm against. Telling these people that Ruto will leave power in 2025, those are the things I'm against. I'm not anarchist. So I will tell these my brothers, the same way you entered the door is the same way you live with the door. You don't live with the window. We use the Ruto was placed there by voting, and the only thing we will remove him and have a stable country is through education. Let us have what we need to do now. Let us not increase the emotions of our youths. Let us come together as youths and ensure that the number of votes, even by 2026, if we can say as youth, we have had around 10 million strong votes from the existing ones. Yeah, we encourage them to take IDs and register as, because voter registration is going on. We don't need to wait for the mass registration with the IBC. We don't need to do that. It is going on in the constituency, in every constituency headquarter office, in sub counties, what we call constituencies. There is voter registration ongoing daily from Monday to Friday. So let us urge our young people to take votes, to register as voter and to take vote. That is the only way we are going to deal with Kasongo come 2027. But brother, if we go with these emotional things like CGO, we want to go to the street. Me, I come from somewhere. Me and Alex here is a witness. We come from somewhere. We have tried with that street thing. It is only what comes out is blood, because violence begot violence. There is no violence that will not be responsible by violence. And when that occurs, the only thing that is the result is death and destruction. That is me. I will not advocate for it, because I used to advocate for it. When these politicians are settled with their problems, they go sit down, they greet each other, they eat together. The people who suffer, the people who died, the people who lost their property is none of their business. So I'm telling people, let us be white revolutionaries. Yes, maybe I used to be bloody revolutionary, because I see that bloody revolutionary is not working in Kenya, because you can't say what happened in Syria will work in Kenya. Like what works in our home cannot work in Kip's home. Things are different, times are different, behaviors are different. So I'm telling Kenyans, let us just register. That is the only appeal that will make this government fierce. But the more we do emotional, you can easily sway somebody who is emotion. Once you increase the emotion of these young kids, they will go. Sometimes they can even boycott the election, and that will give this political existence the one a big chance of coming to power. Thank you very much. Let me end there. A question.
Okay, yeah, Ayara, I want to engage you a little bit. First of all, no one is saying the government to be overthrown. So I think I don't know where you got that one from. Our subject is purely we are trying to look at which are the options which now can rescue Kenya. We were exploring the issue of Gachagua. Do you think so? There's a question I want to ask you now that you are saying that in Kenya revolutions cannot work. So I want you to first of all help me understand, according to you, what is a revolution? If you are saying like, and why do you think Kenya is immune to revolutions? Why is Kenya so immune to revolution that Kenyans have to tolerate and working government, even if it is there simply because revolutions cannot work in Kenya? So do you want to tell me that revolutions cannot work in Kenya according to you, and why?
I'm saying revolution can work. I'm saying bloody revolution through street protest cannot work. Yes, that one I can assure you. As an expert of former, because I left Mandamano, as an expert of former going Mandamano goers. So it will not work. So even those who will go tomorrow, they'll go tomorrow. We will have blood loss, we will have arrest, and it will not work for them.
You know why it won't work? You know why it won't work, yeah? You know why it won't work?
Yeah.
Because most of the mandamanos that we've had in the past, in the last 20 years, have been basically scheduled mandamanos, conducted, planned, and stopped by one man called Raila Amolo Odinga. The scheduled mandamanos don't work, whereby an old man comes and tells us, Tuesday. Then we go on Tuesday, he tells us on Wednesday, we have to relax for the mandamano because we have to rest. Then we come back on Wednesday. Then we go back on Thursday. Then he has some kind of talks with whoever government it is, whether it's Moi, whether it's Kibaki, whether it's Ruto. It doesn't matter. He always schedules his mandamanos to fulfill his needs. So when Kenyans get off that, we talked about this with Alex Budi, which is a savior complex, where we have this idiot telling us when we can do our mandamanos and when we can end it, because we want to do talks like NADCO report, sijui national dialogue, sijui kuna ujinga mingi tunaitwaje bipartisan. All these names are down for them to talk so that they can eat together. So wetoa hiyo mambo ya bloody mandamanos. Mandamanos are mandamanos and will always have casualties. That is a fact, because there is a resistance. There's always a resistance from the opposing side. So, my friend, mi nakwambia, we need to have mandamanos, but our own design, without Raila Amolo Odinga interfering with it, coming to tell us that the NADCO report is what the Gen Zs wanted. So you're takataka to taki. So if they're going to go for maandamano on Tuesday, that is their right. Let them do it. So wewe ulikuwa nafuata psychophantasy yako ya Raila Amolo Odinga, yeye ameenda AU, ameretire maandamano. Kama unataka kuretire maandamano na yeye, we retire na yeye, hiyo ni sawa, lakini let the other people have a chance to do it, because the maandamanos you did not work, because yours was scheduled, yours were planned, you guys were hoodwinked. We are no longer hoodwinked with that old man. So kama haikufanya kazi, I can tell you it's Raila Amolo Odinga's fault. Thank you.
Okay, Kips. Thank you very much. So for that advice, even me, I will urge you. If I will not tell you not to do it, but if you know, and you know, people differs, and times also differs. So if it will work for you, my brother, just go ahead. Tomorrow I will be here. I will ask you how it goes and how things goes. But I want to say this. What
1 minute.
I want to add.
1 minute. So do you want to tell us that abductions to continue forever in fear of what was the andamane? So according to you, do you support abduction? Because maandamano ya kesho, it is because of the issues of abduction. So according to you, are you in support of abductions to happen forever?
The answer is no. I can never support something like abduction. You know, I come from somewhere that we have a very bad history with such things happening from where I come from. Even the last year's maandamano, the one of not the Gen Z, the Raila Odinga one, I lost a cousin who was killed in Kisumu because of these things. So that's why I'm telling you,
Mandamanos were there again? No, hold on. Whose mandamanos were there again? Raila Amolo
Kips
Odinga mandamanos.
kidogo, yes. I know you are allergic to the name Raila Odinga, and if you bring Raila Odinga in such discussions, that's why I was even avoiding the topic of Gachagua. I don't want to go into political individualism, because I know I will hurt so many people if I tell them the truth about Gachagua. So I don't want you to interject because of Raila. If you have a problem with that old man,
Gachagua is an
you
idiot.
will solve
Gachagua
that
is also an idiot.
alone. So me, I'm just urging the people who will go to the street tomorrow. Please, I think there is a best way and other ways to fight this thing called abduction. It is very worse. I was today walking along the streets Nairobi. People fear anything. Hata ukipita tu na gari na ukanyage breki chwa mbele ya mtu, unataka kumsalimia, anatoka mbio. So it is very, hata gari tu yoyote ikionekana kwa estate yenye si gari ya hiyo estate, you just see people are very scared. So I'm not saying people should be cowardized by this kind of Ruto stylish of politics, but I think people should march on, but we should march on in a way that we are not in an entanglement with the authorities that will cause the loss of life. That is what I am against, and the destruction of property. All of that, I am fine.
1 minute. So how can you deal with abductions then? You are saying people should not go to street. People are being collected and cajoled every day. So let's take this case now. I'm not saying it will happen that way. Assume you have been abducted. Would you
He's
want me to come
pro-Ruto.
to go and demonstrate?
Jeru, he's pro-Ruto. What he wants you to do is don't go against the government that is in bed with ODM and wait for 2027. That is exactly what he's telling you. He's telling you, shut up, sit down, wait for 2027. As he just originally says, then we go to the ballot. Yet we don't trust that bloody ballot because Ruto is already going into the IBC and is messing with us. So he's telling you, Ayaga is saying, sit down, stay put, wait for 2027, and then do it peacefully. Peacefully how? Yet we don't trust these elections. Yet some of us supported Raila Amolo Odinga for 5 elections. So wewe, wacha kutuchezea karata hapa. We're not going to wait till 2027. We will not wait till 2027. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. So the only way we can these leaders can listen to us, the so-called leaders can listen to us, is maandamano. Ayaga, if you can give us another solution other than that, wachana na sisi tuende maandamano.
Yeah, there's something I want. Ayaga, I don't understand the reason why. I don't know if you are still in ODM because I'm hearing these days people are dissociating with ODM because they have seen how low ODM has sunk. Especially if you have seen the message of this Mbungo wa Nyakacha Maniwapu anasema we will support Ruto, mupende musipende, any registration which you come. So I want to ask you a question because, and I'm asking it in interest of our viewers and the people who are listening to us. I'm asking you a question because Ayaga, it can also happen to you. Let's not talk about these things because they have happened to others. Ayaga, you have been abducted. Would you want me to demonstrate? That's what I want you to tell me. You have been abducted. Would you want me to come out and ask for where you are?
Yes, but not through street protest. That one I'm against it. There is so many ways you can demand a justice. But not through protest. So so I think I've answered you. Let me finish.
Zero,
Let me finish
on that.
Yeah. Let me finish. Then Kirwa can maybe help me a little bit. I'm just urging for guys who will be on the street tomorrow. I'm just telling them to be vigilant. Me, I know that's why I never supported Ruto and Gachagua. I know how cruel these people are. I know how human heart. They don't have a human heart. I know. That's why I'm advising my brother.
Ruto and Raila. Yet you support Ruto and Raila, but not Ruto and Gachagua.
My friend, don't put words.
Gachagua, but you support Raila and Ruto. When hypocrite.
Keeps don't put words in my mouth. I have not say I'm supporting Ruto. The same way you ask me, people are associating with ODM, and what am I still doing in ODM? I'm in ODM up to 2027 na huko na mimi na Babu Owino na wale wengine tutajipangia mbele. That is what we are doing. That is what law says. We have a contract of 5 years in ODM. So I'm not exiting now, but I'm preparing my exit. By 2027, mimi na Babu Owino anatanga amesema njia kwa katabia shatoka, but kwa katiba ako pale. So tuheshimu katiba. The same way, the people who voted for Ruto, they voted for Ruto for 5 years term. So it is equal mpaka 2027. But lying to you, Ayaga will be here so that you clap for me for doing nothing. That, next year, 2025, we will have a regime change. My friends, I'm telling you, we will not have a regime change. We will have a regime change in 2027 through election. Case closed. Wachia. Salimia Alex hapo.
You want us to
Alex ataongea nimewacha.
Aya, ni sawa. I think before I bring Alex to react, I think Kira, you wanted to react to Ayaga. Can you react, please?
Yeah, I think there is misunderstanding here because if I understand Kip very well, he is saying that, what we are going through now, it's like the mandamanos which has been there earlier, they were man-made mandamano, whereby maybe Raila could call shots, other people could call shots, and then people would go to the streets. And from there, if they say kesho tunatokea, kesho kutwa tunapumzika, siku ingine tunapata ingine tunaenda, you see, those were man-made maandamanos whereby one person could call the shots. And now, since that person, now we have known him, he has been given whatever he has been given. Now he is quiet, he is dining wherever he is dining, to you or wherever. Maybe he has been given some money, he has pocketed some billion. You may never know, at the expense of the agencies, the expense of other people who are killed in the last Mandamanos. More than 60 youths were killed. So now, whatever we are going to see now from here, it is natural maandamano, whereby no one is calling you to go to maandamano, but you are moving to those maandamano without being called by somebody. Because you see, like the people are being abducted. The first person was abducted. There was no maandamano. The second one, the third one, and it has been too much, because until now, each and every person is afraid of whatever is happening in this country, and now people are going to the streets without being even forced by or being called by anybody. I think that is where now we are heading, and that is where you find now. You find the revolution is coming naturally without being driven by anybody. Yani from your heart, umefinywa mpaka wewe mwenyewe umekubali, sasa ikue tosha. That's my take.
Yeah.
Njiru, can I ask one question to my brother Kewa?
Okay, ask.
What question? I want to ask my brother Kewa to answer me that he said these are the other ones that we used to happen are mandamano. This one is natural, all God made mandamano. You will explain for me that. Number two, tell me if the problem, the man-made mandamano, those so-called man-made mandamano, if they are the same problems we were going to the street for, are the same problem ama ni zingine tofauti? Kwa sababu if it is the issue of abduction, usiseme imeanza sahi, watu wamekuwa wakiabductiwa. Even last year maandamano, we saw people like Jenga, sijui what, alikuwa hii former Mungiki whatever, was abducted. Babu Owino was abducted in airport and walitembeza yeye sana. So we saw people abducted. Even we can go back as far as Akina Msando, they were abducted. If it is the cost of living, that Mandamano has. If it is whatever, that Mandamano has. Now tell me what is new now, or what is different now. That's why you call this Mandamano God-made Mandamano, and the other ones were man-made Mandamano.
Thank you very much for that question. That is very brilliant question. The day I'm going to wait for is the day the party called TBIM is formed, and then you will open your eyes and leave Raila Amolo Odinga and follow Babu Owino and go with him, and I'll be very happy Ayaga will be in the same team. Now, the man is still in ODM. Now, let me answer your question. The question is, the problem we're having right now is when the Mandamanos are stopped by an old man telling us we're stopping because they want to do talks. We don't want talks. All revolutions don't need talks. The talks are after we achieve our goals. What are we talking about talks? Tunapatia vitu kidogo. Where is the cost of living been sorted? Where is the electoral justice been fixed? Because that is the original principle. Njeru and I supported Raila Amolo Odinga for the election. That is our fool, and that should have been our president at the moment. Raila Amolo Odinga should have been president right now. So where is our electoral justice? Right now, unatuambia Njoho, sijui nani, sijui Opiyo Ndaya is the results for that maandamano. That is not what the people wanted. At least tulikuwa tunavaa sufuria kama wajinga. So that is what I'm trying to tell you, that the fact that the maandamanos of the past were being curated by one man to achieve goals for himself alone, not the achievement of the people themselves. So I'm telling you, that is the difference. Right now, these people have one goal. Abduction is what they want to stop. So let them go for that mandamano until these people are released. Then we're not going to have an old man coming to tell us, oh, we've had discussions about the abductions. We don't want that. We want those people released. That is the whole point. We want the point where the nurses when the nurses go for mandamano, they get their
keep a
When these
moment.
other people go
One
for
before you
maandamano,
finish,
they get what they want. At the
together.
moment, we're not getting our
Keep,
results. No, you're not getting the point, bro. We're
Ayaga,
not
relax.
getting our
Please,
results.
Ayaga, relax. Okay,
We're
go
not
ahead.
getting our
Ayaga
results.
time, eh?
What's in Manzane? We're not getting our results when we go for maandamano, when it's Raila Amolo Odinga. It has broken our hearts for over 3 years. I've been watching those maandamanos and I've studied it to a science. Mzee anatokelezea sijui kutoka wapi na gari yake, ana disappear, maandamano inaisha. What is sort of nonsense is that? If you look at the others, the other civil disobedience or any civil riots or protests, you'd find that the people always go till the end, till they achieve their goal, day in, day out. Right now, we need to remove the brainwashing that we've had from Mandamano, from Raila Amolo Odinga, that Mandamanos need to be scheduled. They should not be scheduled. Once we get that off our heads, we are all right. Mi nangoja tu Babu Owino akuja aingia hapa alafu mtu ache ujinga zake Ayaga. Babu Owino is starting TBIM and I hope you join that party. Thank you.
Can I ask you? I just another question. I'm saying this. You know, Kips, we have been with you a little bit longer. So sometimes I understand your pain. Do you remember the last time you guys were going for that maandamano ya kuvaa sufuria kwa kichwa? Did you know I opposed it? And the reason why I opposed it, na watu wakanitusi sana, mpaka watu wa ODM, watu wenzangu wa ODM wenye sahi wanalia more than the bereaved. I told them this one statement, that the maandamanos of Raila Odinga always lead to one thing, joining the government and doing the handshake with the government. Na hiyo nilisema wakati huo, I think it was around March, na nikatusiwa pale kwa Bernard, nikatusiwa, nikagongwa, nikasema wacha nichukue political sabbatical leave, na mimi nikadisappear online until the Gen Z's one, which I supported. So if my words, people sometimes wanifuatange tu wanisikize, hata kama nina wazimu yangu, wengine wananiita mlevi and I don't drink. One day, I'm telling you, even this maandamano that you guys are starting tomorrow, there is a politician that will take advantage of that, and we will be here in this same channels and same whatever, we will be meeting here and you will be crying that so and so. Like even the Gen Zs, you see people like Marco Hure, people like so and so, they have taken advantage of that and leave the youths on the street. Those are the things I'm saying. I never supported Raila Odinga maandamano of 2023 and I was against it, na nilitusiwa vizuri. Hata sahii nikitusiwa, naambia vijana ukweli, mukienda hii maandamano tutarudi hapa na mukilia na mtasema Yaga anaongea vibaya. I wish you well.
And that is fine. No, hold on. That is fine. They're still learning this maandamano thing. And it doesn't start. We are still getting hangovers from Raila Amolo Odinga. It might fail tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Wacha wafanye vitu zao. Me, I want to watch it because us millennials will let everybody down because all we talk about is strategy. That is my generation. But then the generation below, let them do their own thing. Mi naangalianga hivi nasema, wacha wafanye vitu zao, let them quarrel amongst themselves and let them learn how to do these things by themselves. It's their own design. Hii kitu yetu kuda kuambia advice. Why are we advising them on something that they've come up with by themselves? Who the hell do you think you are? Wewe kama millennial, who the hell are you? Sisi tumepitia maandamano na Raila Amolo Odinga, tumedanganywa. Hao wako na vitu zao, wachana nao. If it fails, ni sawa, walijaribu. Sisi tukae hapa kwa YouTube zetu, tuongee vitu zetu hapa. Let's do our own thing here. So leave them alone. They are going to help us rebellate this country, whether we see it or not. I'm with the Gen Zs. Kabisa, I support them. Let them do their own thing. It doesn't matter. Thank you.
Okay, I want now to interject there because I'm a bit worried with the school of thought that Ayaga follows. Ayaga is always good to be fair to the predicament which are happening to the bigger majority. it looks you have decided to agree with the minority. That is my assessment, and you have to allow me to assess it that way. You have decided to agree with the minority. You have decided to give Mr. William Ruto a soft spot. You have said that you have a contract for 5 years. In politics, there's nothing like a contract of 5 years. Political contracts are indeterminate. So I don't know which school of thought you are following when you tell us that we ODM has a contract of 5 years. Political contracts are indeterminate. They are subject to performance. Political contracts collapse. So I don't know when you tell me that Mr. William Ruto has 5 years. So do you want to tell me that Mr. William Ruto has 5 years, even if he decides to kill all of us? He has 5 years. He can behead us because he has 5 years. So Ayaga, I want to engage you in terms of that. Can you help me to understand what is a political contract, and to what level can a person be said he has breached his contract and he can actually be ousted? Because you seem, the fact that ODM, that useless party, failed in conducting revolutions because they were not serious. So Ayaga, I am addressing you. The reason why ODM failed to do a revolution in Kenya, and they could, it was because of insincerity. Walikuwa wanaitisha maandamano ili waitwe boardroom. So what they were like, we call it pouching. They were pouching. Kufurisha sura ili uitwe. So ODM was not for anything good in Kenya. ODM was using Kenyans as a collateral damage. Tutoe tu fujo kidogo, tuitwe. They didn't mean it. You understand? And that is why actually ODM has wasted 15 years for us. Kenyan revolution is actually late. Lakini Bwana Raila Odinga incubated it until he mishandled it. And that's why now Kenyans decided to do an high pattern. Kenyans now decided we are going to do this thing our own way. So I want you to explain to me, because Ayaga, with the same energy you are having, because you know some leaders who have been ousted from power because they went against people. So according to you, do you want to tell me that economy is not working, people are dying, there are abductions, the country is having so much retrogression, even other countries are doing better than you? So can you help me to understand, does a 5 years contract still remain?
Okay. Thank you very much. The political contracts are defined by the Kenyan Constitution, that after every 5 years, in fact, it is even recorded that the second week of August every 5 years, we go to a general election. So if the holder of office has breached the contract, the law also stipulates how he will be removed from the office. I am supporting the removal of Ruto from the office. The problem I have with you, my brother, is the way you want Ruto to be removed from office, and me, it is different. That is where we have a problem. For me, if you want to remove the president from office, there is a law how to impeach, the same way we did it with Gachagua. We have touched the presidency. We can go ahead and now deal with the head. We have hit the neck. Now we can go and hit the head. Because ukitaka kuwa nyoka, gonga kichwa. And I don't know why our MP started with the neck. They could have just hit the head from the straight. If you hit, ukiua nyoka kutoka juu kwa kichwa, hiyo anakufanga directly. So that is the problem. I want Ruto to go. You want Ruto to go. Kiro I want Ruto to go. Kips want Ruto to go. Nobody wants Ruto here. The problem I have with you and all these guys, the way to remove him. Yeah, I don't want Ruto to be removed. Yes, and then we are saying on human bodies who have died is like 100 of people. We have lost 100 young men in cold blood, and yet Ruto is removed. For that, Eric Ayaga, I am against it. But if we can persuade our MPs to write an impeachment motion, do it peacefully, and nobody's dead. Like, we remove Gachagua, nobody died. Even if some of his supporters are complaining, that's good, that's democracy. Even if that democracy was wrong on him, because I know aliwekewa vitu mingi, kuna vitu hata hafai kutolewa, but that is hiyo ni siasa. Hiyo ndio nasema tuende hiyo njia. The same to Ruto. Why is Ruto so hard that we Kenyans, we can't force our MPs to have an impeachment motion against William Ruto? That's where the problem is. The second way of removing William Ruto is through a vote of no confidence from Kenyans. Let us to collect signatures.
I think
we can do. Yeah.
Let me
So,
ask you a
but
question.
the
Are you
Let me ask
living
you a
in
I'm
Kenya?
answering your question. Yeah.
Let me tell you,
But my brother,
capture 1 minute. You know, Ayaga
yeah.
is very unfair. I think maybe let me spare our listeners some a bit of reasoning here. I think, Bwana Ayaga, you are very unfair when you are explaining those things and you understand the predicament which have happened in the parliament. The parliament has been captured. The judiciary has been captured. All sane institutions have been captured. So why are you coming here to tell us theory? That is theory. That is when you're explaining things if the parliament has its own end. So Ayaga, be honest to people, spare people some thinking. Is that fair for me to subject people to such kind of thinking, yet you know the parliament is captured? The parliament is now pro Ruto, hata wameongezea ODM ndani. So it means if you have to fight Ruto, it has to be from outside. So Ayaga, please spare people some a bit of reasoning. It's common sense, please.
It's a strange thing. It's a strange thing, Ayaga, when Gachagua is right. Gachagua said something very, very interesting a day ago. He did explain that when MPs have been captured, and it includes the opposition, the so-called opposition. Okay, there's no opposition in Kenya, but where the minority has been swallowed by the government, Gachagua calls something I like a vacuum. When a vacuum has been placed in an area, nature always has to fill that vacuum, and that is filled by the people. That is the people's discontent. If the people cannot go and sign signatures to get rid of them because the IBC has been shut, what do they want them to do? If the judiciary has been bought by Ruto, what do you want the people to do? If you're going to tell them to wait till 2027, where the IBC is talking about mobile voting places, where the IBC is saying that they will no longer be able to stream live events, what do you want the people to wait? When the people are starving, unajua njaa ingojei sijui ngoje 2 years. You're telling me to wait 2 years starving. Nikuwe na njaa for 2 years. Are you serious? 2 years is a long time. I can't pay school fees. Mtoto yangu ajenda shule since 2022. Unaniambia ningojea another 3 years. You know, another 3 years while growing a family is not a joke. For those who've grown a family. 5 years. Whether the child is in primary school or secondary school, you're joking me. You're joking me. I can't pay school fees. I can't feed them. That is in. So, Ayaga, you're in a pipe dream until 2027. It is impossible. It is impossible. We can't wait. We can't wait another 3 years. But it's not 2022, 2023, 2024. So 2024 and 2023 are the 2 years Ruto has gone. So we have another 3 years for this idiot.
Okay. Kidogo tu shikilia tu hapo kidogo. There's something nataka kukumbusha Ayaga hapa. Ayaga, are you aware that even the financing model ya university ilibadilishwa ile ambayo koti imesimamisha, that we are even risking not having a proper education concept for the next 3 years. Na yetu tunasema this person has 5 years contract. Another thing nataka tu kuongezea tu hapa, because unajua this problems of psychophancy only works if things are working. And that's why I'm telling you, even this sycophants which ODM is having to Ruto, it will put them into problems. You people, you will lose your own base. ODM is at the verge of losing its own base. Why? Because you are going to become too sycophantic to the extent that your people will start suffering, or they are on progressive suffering courtesy of Ruto. Then watapiga side mirror waone we are suffering courtesy of ODM, and you are losing your party, you are losing your people. Stop this sycophancy. Keep go ahead.
Because I'll continue with where Njuri is, because Uru does not care. Uru, he's got nothing to lose. He will give you, you see, comparing Uhuru loaning his people and Raila loaning his people is very big difference. This is Uhuru giving his friends, Ndamchikli, Igathe, watu wote ni marafiki zake tu. Adds his brother on top of that, it does not matter compared to the risk that Raila is going to. You see, Raila's risk is a bit bigger because Uhuru's legacy is finished. There are guys who will still praise him, and there are guys who will still, they're going to be annoyed with him to joining with Uhuru. But it doesn't matter. He's still okay. Uhuru is still going to be okay compared to the amount of loss that Raila is. Look, Njeru and I were sycophants. I'm not going to lie. Njeru, si tulikuwa sycophants. Hiyo si uongo. I mean, tulikuwa sycophants wa Raila.
Yeah, of course,
Not a lie.
we thought Raila was a savior for Kenya.
Savior.
So tulikuwa tunajisukumilia huko tunasema huyu, when Baba speaks he is always right, and sijui ile opposition, sijui if he is wrong, sijui even if he is wrong refer to number one. I thank God that I'm outside of that. Na yaga msijaribu kutuletea vitu kama hiyo, sijui ati if he is wrong, sijui siku hizi hata even Babu Owino who was extremely psychophantic keep, umesikia siku hizi Babu Owino akileta vitu kama hizo akianzia kusema hata sijui if Baba is wrong refer to rule number one. Even with the time when Akina Babu Owino was saying that we have four arms of government, Babu Owino said we have four arms of government, na akaweka hata Raila Odinga hapo. Niteni Babu Owino leo arudie hiyo statement.
The problem, Jiri, the problem, I was never a sycophant even for the way before. Mimi tu ndio ninge support Raila na ningemlima at the same time. Now that's the difference. I am not a sycophant up to now, and I will never be one. So my brothers, what we need to read.
Ayaga, 1 minute, Ayaga kidogo, wacha kipa malizie statement yake. But Ayaga, do you know that by the way, mtu ajuangi ni sycophant ni kuambiwa na ambiangwa. Allow people tell you. Unajua hata mwenda wazimu, he doesn't know that he is mad. So if you are sycophant, you are not aware. Ayaga, ungeuliza comment section hapa. By the way, you people, do I look like a sycophant? Get a second opinion. You cannot describe yourself.
I am one. I am a sycophant. Anyway, let me just finish so that Curia can also contribute before you go. Come in, Ayaga. Let's be fair, because he's been sitting there. Mi nakwambia nilikuwa sycophant. Nilikuwa nafukuza mtu akiongea juu ya Raila nasikia kugonga bana. I would almost come to the screen and hit you. And that is the thing. I was described as a sycophant. Right now, I'm just in terrible hangover of Raila Amolo Odinga, and I'm angry. Now, what I'm trying to experience is I'm beginning to understand you, Ayaga. I think you like Babu Owino. So before, after Curia comes in, I want to ask you that one question. Not psychopath. There's a very big difference. Yosef, he's not a psychopath. He's a good man. We fight, he's not a psychopath. Sycophant. Sycophant is big different from psychopath. Is the question I want to ask you, Ayag, is if Babu Owino decides to start Tibim Party, will you join it? Because I think it will be important for the growth of Nyanza to get rid of this idiot called Raila Amolo Odinga, to come off this disease called Raila Amolo Odinga, because at one point he calls himself a Luya, sijui ako na heritage kutoka Wanga, na he's a Luya, akikuja huko kwa Jaluo, sijui he's got sijui what. Baka kuna siku alijiita sijui cousin wa Obama. Raila is a liar. Kwanza ni kushinda Ruto by the Raila is a liar. Sasa how is he Obama's cousin? I have the article there where Raila says he's Obama's cousin. nikakuja kugundua this guy just lies to us. So when he goes to the Luya nation, oh, I'm circumcised, ama sijui tumetoka kwa the Wanga family, akuja kwa Jaluo anakuja kuwadanganya huko. So akikuja kwa Mombasa anajiita sultan, alafu anaita njoo small sultan. Huo mzee anajua kuwadanganya na ujinga zake. So I'm just asking that one question, like very important question. If Babu Owino leaves ODM, will you follow him? And if you do, please come back to the show and tell us how you hate Raila Amolo Odinga. Curia, go ahead, please.
Yes, you know, when we are talking about Raila Odinga, nafurahia sababu nyinyi ni watu mmekuwa ODM na mimi nimekuwa ODM, nimekuwa na baba, nimekufa na baba tangu 2007. So ukiona tumetoka huko tukiwa tumnakimbia, we understand this man and that party very well. Because you can't imagine, Raila kila wakati tunamfuata, tunaandamana, tunapigana, lakini wakati anakaribia kamba, it's like he doesn't want to rule the nation. Ama anaonanga ni kama hiyo kiti ya president ni iko na miba hawezi kalia. So most of the time tunakimbia, tukikaribia kufika kamba jamaa anaanguka chini. From there, what does he do? He comes back and then talks to the ruling party after sasa maandamano watu wameumia nini. He goes to the soft place in the government, ama anaenda to the warmer opposition hata bila wenzake kujua, kama vile aliruka akina Kalonzo nani yeye akaenda wakafanya handshake na Uhuru, yeye akakaa mahali poa. Now the other time after maandamano nini when we had pushed the government to the corner, now this man comes anafanya tena handshake, tena maneno yake inakuwa ni soft, wale wameumia wanabaki wameumia. Aya, now this time he has been cheated with the UAC chair, where we don't know whether he will get it or he won't get it, but it is at the expense of his followers. Now sisi kama watu wamekuwa ODM enyewe, we feel cheated na ni kama tumetoka huko, sababu sasa mimi kama mfuasi ambaye ni sugu huwezi nieleza maneno ya ODM na Raila nisikize. And even the Babu Owino has seen Damascus moment. Hata yeye amesema amefinywa huko na Junet, mpaka sasa yeye hawataki aendelee, hawataki amuke, hawataki afanye nini. Hata yeye ameamua anajitoa because he has seen the kind of nonsense which is there.
Kwanza, I'm going to even be a bit rough on you, Ayaga. Do you know that none of the people that Raila called as experts belong to the Luo nation? Hata hakuna mmoja. Pio Ndaya is not a Luo. Mbadi is not a Luo. Joe is not a Luo. Oparanya is not a Luo. So hata nyinyi mnamfuata huyo mtu mkifikiria mtu yetu, mmedanganywa na Raila Amolo Odinga. At least Gachagua anatoka Yaga. At least yake huko anaenda anasema oh, chai sijui tufanye coffee, anaenda anapigia watu wake ya Central huko. Ruto hapa anakuja anatudanganya watu wetu wa Rift Valley, anakuja anatudanganya. At least even the perception of even taking care of your own people actually works. Lakini Raila Amolo Odinga hata hakuna mjaluo mmoja amesaidia huko. That guy is a liar. He's a effing liar.
Yeah, okay, let me come.
Hata Junet Mohamed hajatoka huko kwenu. Junet Mohamed ni wa sijui huko Ethiopia ama Somali. Sorry. Nimekuja na ukali leo. Sorry.
There is something which has been brought here and I want to discuss it. There is something which has been brought here and I want to discuss it. Do you hear? I'm a victim of this. Let me tell you, and I will explain. You see this thing? Let me tell you. I saw my grandfathers, and our grandfathers and my grandmother, who are not actually, they were not extremely exposed that they were seriously fighting this man. Because maybe Gukawito, you are having. Let me tell you, tumezika my grandfather akiwa bado anasema Raila hata waiongoza Kenya. That was in na tumemuzika hapo around 2015. I think hao watu kuna kitu wanajua, and I think for us we are trying to discover it na tumeshindwa na kuidiscover. And I know even Ayaga himself, he is very sure at the bottom of his hand ni vile hataki kutuambia Raila had no capacity to become a president in Kenya, but he was hoodwinking everybody that he is that person, including even duping akina Uhuru Kenyatta, that he has capacity to become a leader, and he is not. He is not. I think he did not portray that character of somebody who was resilient enough. Na sorry, resilient situmii jina yako. Sasa niwe umekuja kutumia jina resilient, sasa sijui nitafanya aje. I don't think he was resilient enough. He had those tentacles which are needed for somebody to become a leader. Shoshorisho karibu. So, and that is an issue I want people to explore. The reason why Bwana Kipu nimeleta hii story ni sababu we could risk tolerating another time waster akuja tupotezea another 20 years, and that person has no ambitions of becoming a president. So we have now to also be targeted. Tusikue tuna support watu and those people are not interested. Because from many people who I have spoken with and some intelligent interrogation, some people have even come out and said that Raila Odinga actually loved to be an opposition leader. Loved it. So sijui Kipu kama umekutana na watu wanasema hivyo, at even hata Raila Odinga, some people even said
every
that
day. Every day.
He
Every
feels
day,
better to be in opposition. There are some people who have
Yeah.
argued that. Na sasa sisi tuko hapa tunamsukumilia, tunamwambia wewe ndio kiongozi yetu. Kumbe jamaa anataka kukua opposition. Na sisi hatujui. React to that.
So can I answer now? Okay. Now let me answer. I think Kips will not interrupt me. What I'm saying, I want to start with Kips' question. Are we leaving ODM when the TBM is formed? Yes, we are leaving ODM. That's why I always cry for ODM every day. But you know, sometimes they always say, is it?
Hold on. Say that again. Say that again. I'm so happy today.
Yeah, is it Napoleon Bonaparte? Yeah, Napoleon Bonaparte say when your enemy is making mistake, you don't advise them, you leave them, go ahead. That's why all along you see me, you want me to advise ODM and Raila. I will not do that. I will just keep quiet and I will avoid that topic like a disaster. Let them just do ODM leadership, let them just go the way they are going. We wish them well. ODM, when time comes, about this issue of this guy here, Gukawa Muitu. Me, I want to answer you one thing. You know, you asked me about Raila Odinga lies about saying Obama is his cousin. Sijui what? Okay, yeah. So to us, you know why Raila call Obama cousin? Many people never understand that. To us, where your mom comes from, you cannot marry from that community. So you call those people your relatives. So they are your cousins. So being that Raila's mother comes from Kogelo and Obama is the son of Kogelo, they are cousins. Raila can't marry from that community. So I think Obama, being that he was born in America too much, he doesn't understand these things. Number two, when it comes to migration and whatever, I think even me, I belongs to the Luo Kawango, where Raila, the Sakwa and Uyama people, we are the fourth Luo to arrive. You can Google. We are the fourth Luos to arrive. We are called Luo Abasuba or Luo Kawango. We pass through the kingdom of Wanga and we stay there for some times. So that's why we are related to the Wanga family. Even the Sakwa people where Raila comes from, those people are actually from the kingdom of Wanga. They are not pure Luos. It is just a lawyer man who married a Luo to do whatever. Sakwa is a lawyer. You can ask the people from Wanga, the people from Matungu there, around Matungu. Sakwa is a lawyer word even in the first place. So I think these are the things that you can read through Google and understand before you call Raila a liar. Lastly, I want to answer Guka wa Mwitu. I've had that. And you know, for me, I always say one thing. Eric Ayaga will not be a rehabilitation center for the kids whose parents took an oath to hate Raila Odinga and the community called Luos. Because even for us, we are being told there is an oath that was taken. I don't know, is Mukuru wa Nyangathanga, sijui kama ni Nyeri ama ni Kirinyaga. I don't know that place through Akina Kenyatta. And they swear that the leadership, the leadership of this country will not pass through Rift Valley.
Nitacommute kidogo. I want to, you see, our station, we don't talk about those oaths which you are talking about here. So it's very unfair to subject people to all the things and we don't know about those things which you are talking about. So whether it is a leader from Mount Kenya region who talked about that, personally, I will not allow you to come and start telling us that people who gave an oath in Mount Kenya about Raila Odinga. We were not there. We don't know the reason. And so that is propaganda because it is not confirmable. Hiyo story ilikuja na Moses Kuria. So I will not allow you to bring story ya Moses Kuria hapa. Moses Kuria ndiye alianzia kusema story ya hizo oaths and some other few people. And some of those things are not true. So why are you talking about some of the people who are here, they don't know about those oaths. So why are you talking about those oaths na kusema ati watu walichukua oath ili wachukie Raila Odinga? I don't understand you. Personally, mimi nilichukua oath. Did I take that oath? I'm just trying to ask you, did I take that oath? So it is very unfair to start telling people that we took oath. Your oath, whoever alichukua, they were supposed to confirm that time. But you cannot come to start telling us at this generation, we talk about those oaths. And I don't know the reason why you are avoiding our topic of the day, the issues of Gachagua na nini. You are saying that you don't want to talk, and then sasa unaturudisha kwa maneno ya oath. I think people in this channel are beyond oaths. So unless if you have another word to tell us, maybe 1 in 2 minutes nikuruhusu useme hiyo, then we have Akina Mise now coming to the studio. But it's very unfair to subject people to the issues of oath. That was wrong. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think you don't understand me. Let me repeat for you my statement. I say Eric Ayaga will not be a rehabilitation center for the kids whose parents took an oath. Yes. I'm not saying you. I'm saying your parents.
No.
Because
Ayaga,
you cannot
yes.
So
that.
if your grandfather, grandmother died without telling you why he ate Raila Odinga, they took
You're out of order. Ayaga, 1 minute. You're out of order. You cannot start calling people kids. Because of that, I'm giving you a timeout. Let's have other people, please. It's unfair. I feel open disrespect in this channel. You cannot use such language. You know, I have to call it out. You cannot start saying you are not a rehabilitation for kids. Which kids are you talking about? So until you understand a way of delivering your information, I think I'm going to give you some time out now. You will still be in the studio. You are not going to get out. But let's not subject people to that rhetoric, which you are talking about. Some of us, we are not aware of those things. I don't know why you are coming to tell people about oaths. Do you want to tell me that even Gen Zs, you will go to start telling them about oaths? It's very unfair. So Ayaga, relax kidogo, wacha Mise aongee, Budi akuje tena, lakini wewe sikiliza, usikie ile rhythm watu wanaongea. I think you have targeted information you want us to get here, but I don't think you'll be able to funnel it here. For now, wacha Mise aongee. Mise, karibu.
Asante. Thank you for welcoming me. I will listen more for now, and then I can contribute later.
Okay, thank you, Mise, for that.
Ngoja kidogo, just 1 second. Kuna mtu anaitwa Martin Maka Ndets. Hebu ingia show bana, acha mchezo. Martin, ingia show.
Okay, good for that. So, Bwana Budi, I think you can come on board and also try to react to what Ayaga is saying, because I think maybe you did not have an opportunity to react to him. Personally, I'm trying to understand him and nimeshindwa.
You know, I would not want to go that route. But again, the reason why We are where we are. Miss Mbiore, yeah. I was just asking Misa because he's younger than me. Yeah, I mean somebody who was circumcised to be after you many years. So that's what I just told Misa. How are you?
Alex, you can. I think Alex, you need to retract that statement because we don't know if I'm older than you or you're younger than me.
For now, in this forum, let's just assume that.
Okay, beyond mono.
Okay, thank you. I was just saying hi to you, Miss, and being happy that we're still part of the conversation even after we disagreed. You know, we disagreed after election, during the debates before election. But the good thing is that we are still the same people. We are here trying to find a common solution that we could not agree, you know, even from the previous. And I'm glad to see you here. I think I will play the devil's advocate. Ayaga has a good point of divergent view that he's trying to pass along, but I think his pathos is the problem. His podium pathos is a problem. How he's injecting it. You see, Murara is injecting, and other people are injecting, but you find that Murara knows how to inject in a better way that resonates with the people. And there are things you don't bring just because you want to make a point. For instance, the issue of oath was unnecessary. But I think I will go from the beginning what Ayaga was saying, that it has come to a point we in Nyanza are agreeing that the issue of Mandamano is not working for us. It has never worked for us and it will never work for us. So with the current situation and how things are biting us, the option is because we are so passionate about Mandamano. When we go to Mandamano, we end up destroying our own economy. We destroy our own livelihood, and it hurts us so bad. And I think earlier somebody said something that really pissed me off, because that is what we always hear from the mountain. Because somebody said a statement that has become part of the statements that really makes us even not trust the mountain, that as long as we have a good business environment, we don't have any problem. And that is what has always been used, that sisi ni watu wana biashara, and it end up hurting the movement that we have, that kuna watu sio wana biashara, kuna watu ni wana maandamano, kuna watu wa kung'oa reli. You understand that language keep that has always been used against us, so that we are more factional than united. But if you look at what and how the politician thrive, is to use factionalism of such kind of thin-veiled, how can we say, belonging, whereby you find somebody says, as long as we have good business environment, as if only people from a certain area want good business environment. Let me tell you, right now in Kenya, you may even find, and I was so shocked that some of the best real estate moguls are from Luo Nyanza, which I didn't know. Ojijo and Farms in Westlands is one of the best real estate farm in Kenya. I never knew that. The guy has made billions and billions. The person that took over from Mugoya Construction Company, which actually Ruto wants to take over, because if you look at Ruto and his trajectory and takeover, he's taking off JKIA, taking off Kenya Airways, the businesses that originally were for the Kalenjins and the Kikuyus. You find, like, for instance, now the construction, which was owned by the Mugoya, which basically was the Moi company, Mugoya Construction Company, is owned basically by the Luo conglomerate, the elitists. So when it comes to business, it's not a one-sided area. Now I think people, farming, business, education, elitism, are spread and saturated through most of the communities. That's what we can say. But what Ayaga is trying to say is that the disappointment we got through the political class of fighting for a person, and goes back and does what? Makes deals, and he forgets that our people have done have died is not sustainable. So for us, we are not going that route anymore. But what they are also saying is this, because we've never had true tangible development. If at any time, if Gladys Wanga is willing to partner with the president and we get the necessary tangible development that we've never gotten, actually, if you went to some of the Luo counties, and I'll be very honest, and Ayaga will be here very honest, I will tell you Keroka town is more vibrant than Siaya County as a whole because of politicking throughout. And even through the politicking of somebody like Steele, somebody like Anyang' Nyong'o, you can see now the difference of what Kangata is doing and what Orengo is doing. So I think even them, they have this not only political revolution, but they also now a little bit tangible with the development revolution, whereby they are trying, for instance, if you go to TikTok lately, you will see what Kangata has done, how he has been very quiet, what he has been able to deliver to his people in 2 years versus Orengo. So everybody, we have basically the same national agitations. But again, devolution goes back to where you come from. Then we start seeing where are we in terms of development? What has eluded us? And because of that, you found that they found new cut deals whereby they are getting whatever they are getting, which you can't blame them too, because that is the political way things that have been done. And again, had we known that from the very beginning that we had a national and corporate issue, and through the mandamandos that we had started, our brothers from Central had also joined us, you know, from the very beginning, before even these, you know, committees of NADCO were created. I think Ruto will not be where he is. So because of what he has done and the people are realizing too late, so you have come on board when others have been on board for a very long time and they have sought other alternatives. But so the question is, how do we honestly accept that at some point we made a mistake as a community, we made a mistake as individuals, okay? We did not follow up with the current politics of Kenya. We were selfish. We did not listen to the leadership, the leadership that was telling us that Ruto was dangerous. And how do we say sorry towards that while we catch up with the people who have always been saying that Ruto was wrong, so that we don't get to a point that we are separating based on our approach of the one goal we want. So Ayaga wants Ruto out, which is basically what the people of the Luo Nyanza wants. At the same time, the people of the mountain want Ruto out. But the approach is what differs. The leadership that we both have is what we both don't like. The Odingaism, for us, is dead, but it's the only bull that we have so far. And now the new bull that you have, which actually I told you earlier, I said, because it's the only uniting bull you have no any alternative. Because right now, if you start looking for another bull, you will be divided and Ruto will take advantage. Take that bull. That bull is still not acceptable with the Luo Nyanza because of the acts that it did. But then we still have to talk. If you listened to how Botswana was able to come with a formidable union of the opposition and be able to get out Masisi, is because they had to talk, that they had different divergent views and the approach were not working. If they were not careful, Masisi will continue to be a two-term president and the country was going to go down and down. And therefore, they had consensus, they had sacrifices, and in the end, they brought up one person who could take Masisi out first. Then they started dealing with other issues, which they succeeded. And that is what we need to look at, that we need to put Odinga out. Gachagua out, but if currently they are the glue that are helping us unite so that we can give Ruto a heck of a problem while looking for the next best alternative, we still have to hold on to them. So what the Luo Nyanza are saying, which I do not agree, but sometimes I see that is very true, because if Odinga gets out of the picture, the Suba people led by Mbadi are totally going to vote for Ruto, come rain, come sunshine. And the people from the North Luo Nyanza, the Luo Nyanza vote, the Nyanza vote, the Luo, the Kavirondo, will not be one block anymore. It will become a loose cannon, worse than any that we have seen. So for it to remain one, to challenge Ruto, that is what Ayaga is saying, that old man, the way he calls him. Okay, for us also from the mountain, because we are the cousins of the mountain, and Ayaga will not lie to you. Sisi tumeangalia mlima, because anytime mlima inaguzwa na ina bleed kidogo, because it seems we follow their footsteps when it comes to farming, when it comes to development, when it comes to business, when it comes to matatus. It looks like we have always followed their footsteps. So when Ruto is fighting them, he's fighting us also. And that is why he has found that he has lost a big, almost the whole of what? The mountain. And in retrospect, he has lost the whole of Kisii. And that is why he wants to start the new year in Kisii. So we are also saying that respect Gachagua, regardless of what he has done. It's the only bull we have right now that can tilt or can hold the center for us. Okay? So we need to acknowledge of these differences so that we can take Ruto out. Because we underestimated Ruto. We still continue to underestimate Ruto. We think that Ruto is not a deal maker, but we have seen Ruto, and I reiterate, no president since independence, including Kenyatta, was able to have a new chief of staff, a new general, a new police commissioner, we are looking at a new chief justice now. Like Ruto literally dissolved the establishment, including his deputy president, what we never thought could happen. So Ruto has everything on his side in terms of the corridors of power. So, and we think that it's easy. And with him doing that, Ruto is going to have his own IEBC. And as we have known, the problem we have Kenya today, it is not the institution that matters. It is the person that announces the election. Even Abkadir, when he wrote his memoir or whatever biography that he wrote, he said it, that the person that announces the election is the most important person. And that is why we are more afraid about the new IBC that is coming than any other thing, because they know how to tilt the statistics, they know how to tilt their constituencies, they can decide to create constituencies that are going to be beneficial to Ruto. They will do anything and everything to craft a way forward for 2027. So our biggest fight right now is the one institution which is called the IEBC, but you cannot make the IEBC by Ruto basically being the head of every institution that is cardinal for the democracy of Kenya. That is the problem now we have. We are underestimating this man. That is why Ayaga will also tell you that we can't wait 2027 while you are saying that. If Ruto shows us the middle finger that the IEBC is not able to conduct free and fair election, we have no option other than to go to the street instead of waiting somebody who is going to announce him. I think now you understand, Ayaga, the convictional wisdom there, that if the ballot is not going to work, I will use what Malcolm X said. I will not say the word. Thank you.
Okay, ni sawa. Yeah, I think with that now, I think you have now brought Ayaga closer to our point of reasoning, and that's why I wanted you at least to be. Maybe before I bring him for it, because I don't want to close him over, because I can see Mato is really no Mato. We are not catering any person here, but on issues of oaths, personally, I will not support them because I don't understand what he was talking about. So keep. Now on those issues which Alex ameongea hapa, on some of those things which have happened to Ruto, all those appointments which he has been able to do during his 2 years in power. So do you think we now have capacity, or do we have capacity to still remove Ruto as per now, or we have to wait for him akuwe na hiyo IBC yake as elect? So in other words, I want you to react to what Alex has said, because it is serious and dangerous at the same time.
It is what I call defeatism. I understand where my brother is coming from. We are left with but one choice. And this is why I did say from the beginning that we elected our fool, which was Raila Amolo Odinga. Would not have these problems if Raila Amolo Odinga was president today. I knew this from a long time ago. Once Ruto is in, it was going to be very difficult to get rid of him. And the only route, because if you think about the number of trips he went abroad when Mandamonos happened, this is starting from the ODM Mandamanos, or we call it Azimio, but it's ODM. Mandamanos to the Gen Z Mandamanos, we could see that he was freaking out. He was scared. He was very scared. You could notice that he was never around the country, and most of the affairs of the country when it came to Mandamanos were left to Gachagua. That is why some of us can never forgive Gachagua. Right now, he's gatekeeper for Central. That is fine. He can keep that job. He's doing a good job, but we'll never forgive him for that. So for me, waiting for 2027 is not an option, because he has read the book of most dictators in Kenya from the world, from Hitler to the Soviet dictators, down to the Ayatollah. You can tell by his speeches. You can see his friends are people like Museveni, the Rwandan president. You can see he's trying to do that. So him coming up to tell us that he wants to extend his term to 7 years, and then another 7 years. Before you know it, it's 14 years, or whatever it is. He's a very dangerous man. So the only way to remove Ruto is through the route we're talking about right now, which is civil disobedience and mandamanos. So it is heartbreaking to hear that we're all folding towards that ideology, that is the only way. It is not. Because the other traps that you're talking about, which is him taking over the judiciary, him taking over the legislation, him taking over the IBC, means that the route that you're talking about right now for 2027 is impossible. That is why you can see that Ayaga has thrown his hands up and said he's taking another 5 years. We can't do that as Kenyans. It's impossible. We have to remove him through the streets. I only see that route. 2027 is not an option. You don't understand. This guy has been architect of election theft since the elections violence. You saw him. You saw him do all that stuff. Uhuru is a lazy, rich kid that does not know what he was doing. The driver of all this theft has always been Samoei Ruto. When we are talking about deep state, all this time, Ruto as the deputy who was sitting under the roof of vehicles was actually the driver of the deep state. The actual deep state is what Ruto took over. How is this man come underneath you to even talk to the West to approve him? Do you understand how powerful that man is? So, ladies and gentlemen, I am saddened to tell you, only way to get rid of Ruto is what we're doing right now. More mandamanos. Don't listen to Raila Amolo Odinga. Unfortunately, him is just a deal maker. He's what you call a kingmaker. He comes every 2 years, to make noise with us, go for elections, then make a deal with the government. That's it. That's how he's made his billions. So IBC's brokenness has never been fixed for Kenya. Why is it normal where I am right now to talk about going to the ballot, leaving a ballot, and that's the end of the story? Same with the US. Even then, even when we had problems with Trump, when it came to the US, elections has always been safe in America and the US. Those were little teething problems, Njero. I know you might disagree with me that, but there are small states here and there. You understand? We're talking about Nevada and Georgia. But the rest, Njero, you agree the elections are right when we talk about the Biden elections. You're right with the other states. That is how we should be comfortable as Kenyans. Oh, thank God Mandamano is here. He had problems with his connections. But we should be as comfortable as possible in Kenya with elections, just like the US and the rest of the Europe. Why aren't we not comfortable? Why do we feel that every time elections have been stolen? I've never had in my lifetime as a Kenyan, all my life, since I was born, there has never been correct elections. Because when I was born, Jaramogi Odinga, not Jaramogi, Jomo Kenyatta died, and I'd never met Jomo Kenyatta in my lifetime. He had died, and then Moi, as being his VP, took over. We didn't even have an election for Moi. Then the first elections we had was the first true election. So tumekuwa tuna election mzuri moja when we got rid of Moi. That's the only one. The rest are not fair. So you cannot tell me 2027, the only way to get rid of Ruto is the election. It's a waste of time, Kenyans. I'll wait for you in 2027 and just tell you you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. When you have mobile, yeah, I know my brother is about to join. When you have mobile voting places, when you have the same companies working for elections, right now, it's not going to only be Ruto who's going to be rigging elections. It's going to be the MPs who want to still stay. So it's going to even be worse in 2027. It's going to be worse than ever. It's going to be worse. So that is my take for it. This is the only way. Only way.
Sawa Keith, wacha tusikie. I think Alex wants to react to you kabla tupate msimamo. Alex, can you react?
Yeah, I welcome that.
Yeah, quickly. And the reason, and that's why we need to look at a case study of how we succeeded in 2002 and the journey towards 2002, how it was choreographed to beat Ruto, to beat Moi, the system, and the continuation of Kanu regime, which actually continues today, but we halted it a little bit. And you can understand that when the NDP flag came down, we had the IPPG, and interparliamentary. You can go look at the IPPG, what it entailed, and how it helped create a new commission that was going to oversee the election. And in doing so, Moi thought he had done what was called tribal mortgaging. He had gotten the Kalenjins on his flock, and he knew how he would get the Kikuyus or divide the Kikuyus, because at that particular time, remember, Odinga was fronting Nyachai. But when he realized that Moi had fronted Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, he had to understand that the mountain needed to be split in order not to come as a block, because that was so easy for Moi to take over. And perception in politics is very important. So, but the IPPG that formed the Electoral Commission, that was vital in announcing Kibaki as the winner and giving the Rainbow Coalition ultimate, majority in parliament. How do we go back to, a situation we are able to create an electoral commission that is not if you look how we came from Electoral Commission of Kenya to the IEBC and the people that were there in the transition, and that is why we have problem with special gadgets like the ones like Sholei has when she enters Boma's house. We have problem. We don't even know what gadgets are those that basically, alter the election. I think, first of all, we must understand that with the current structure, even if you change the personnel, even if you change everything but the system of the IEBC that basically runs, and a special kind of people like Chirchir have the foundational development and overseer of the whole system and knows how to manipulate, I think we still are going to get ourselves in such shocks. So Kenyans needs to know that if we are going to an election, we can not go to an election with the current IEBC system, whether we change the personnel or not. If that is what Ayaga thinks, that the next election is going to bring another individual, unfortunately, I think for me as an individual, I see that I think we are extending Ruto's term without rethinking what we are doing. So election is not the solution of Kenya right now, the way we are saying 2027. 2027 is not going to take Kenyans from the yokes of what we have. What will take Kenyans out of the yoke is the total overhaul and ownership of the whole process. America does not have an electoral commission. America does not have an electoral commissioner. And still, America operates very well. So for me, what is called IBC or the Electoral Commission of Kenya is a conduit of corruption, first of all, because they get billions of money, we don't know where they go to. And secondly, it's a conduit to announce to the world a puppet by the Western elites, the Bill Gates, and so on, who are bankrolling our politics. So Ayaga, 2027 election is another phony ploy to extend Ruto's. So when you're telling us 2027, I think I wonder if you really know who's going to announce those elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex. That was very elaborate, and it's exactly my thoughts. It's plain and simple. Most countries in the West don't have a commission for this garbage. Like, for example, we have an electoral college where each state actually owns their presidential elections, and they announce who they want as their leader. Why can't we have each county decide who they want as their president? And they own that. And it's actually owned by the law society of each county, where do you know that in the UK elections are still manual? Ni karatasi tu. And it's trusted by the people. The more we make these elections in Kenya complicated, the worse we make it. And this is what Ruto has just been relying. Because most of the decisions that we called hot air and wild goose chase were things we could see in our eyes as being unfair. Forget about the legal bodies in our country. They're just, I mean, I think they're just far gone. They have this notion that there's no there. There was there. And I still believe to date that 3 times Raila Amolo Odinga should have been my president. Absolutely. So I'd like to invite Simamo before we come back to Ayaga to defend his case. So msimamo, if you could go ahead and tukaribisha ndugu, tuambie maoni yako.
Asante sana ndugu yangu Kip kwa nafasi hii ya kipekee. Nimesumbuka but nimefika. But hapa naona mwenge umezidi, siani kama nikianza lugha yangu hapa ya Uswahili kama
Tuende hiyo bana,
tutaendana na
tuende kazi.
tutaendana na Alex hapo. Lakini kama ilivyo ada, wacha kwanza nisalimie Jiru ndugu yangu hapo Kipo, alafu na brother hapa, hii jina hata sioni poa, na Alex na wengine wote wale. Unajua
Ni
sikuona
Ayaga.
topic
Ni Ayaga.
ya
Ayaga.
yes,
Ayaga.
Ayaga. Yes, pokea.
Mnamjua ni ndugu
Then
wako by the way. Tulikuwa naye huko Mtembei.
exactly. Then sikuona hiyo topic ya leo, lakini kile ambacho nimekisikiza zaidi hapa ni masuala mazima haswa hapa. Amegonga ndipo Alex, amegonga ndipo, na nakubaliana na yeye 100%, kwa maana tukienda mfumo huo wa IBC, masuala na uchaguzi, hapa ni ufisadi tu, na pia kuna uwezekano wa wanasiasa ni wale wale. Unajua unapolipiga jibwa na nyumba inanuka nyama, huwa kunakuwa na changamoto sometimes. Unajua sisi wote tunaelewa wakina nani wanatucheleweshea mageuzi katika hili taifa. Wenye wanatucheleweshea mageuzi ni wanasiasa, kwa sababu
Unaweza rudia hapo, tunafanya nini na nyumba inanuka nyama?
unajua ni unaweza lipiga jibwa bure ili hali nyumba inanuka nyama.
So jibwa bure hapo ndio sielewi.
Yaani unalipiga kulionea tu kwa sababu linazunguka hiyo nyumba, lakini ndani mna nyama.
Okay.
Hapo umenielewa? So unalionea kulipiga pasipokuwa na haja ya kulipiga, kwa sababu unaelewa fika tu nini ambacho jibwa lile linatafuta hapo ndani. Maana kama si kipande, si harufu ya nyama, basi jibwa halingekuwa hapo karibu. Sasa unalipiga tu, lakini mwenye kulipiga unalifanyia kulionea, maana una kitu umekiweka hapo ndani. Hapo sio kama umenielewa Alex?
Nimekuelewa kaka na ndugu.
Sawa. Sasa kila ilivyo tunaelewa kwamba na akina nani wanatucheleweshea mageuzi, unaelewa, na si wengine ni wanasiasa, kwa sababu wao ndo wanaingia huku, wengine wanatoka na kule, yani mfano wa panya vile. Unakuta wanaogomana sasa hivi, kesho ndo hao wameungana, yani hatuelewi, lakini all hawa jamaa ndo wanatucheleweshea mageuzi. So lazima mi na IBC naungana na Alex kwa hapo kwamba jimbo limeamua tunataka fulani, jimbo lingine limeamua tunataka fulani, that's all, inatosha. Sababu tukipeleka kwa IBC atatangaza yule ambaye mkono wake ni mzito zaidi, na ukikimbia kwa mahakama, ukifika watu walijipanga kitambo, tunabaki let's accept and move on, tuendelee tu. Kenya ni kubwa kuliko kitu kingine, lakini tayari tushapindishwa humo ndani. Pia wanacheza haswa dili zao pia. Yule anauza kiti yake, yule anahama mrengo huu, yule anaamua kuchukua kile. So hawa ndo wanatuchezesha. So nikiona watu wanaingizwa katika masuala mazima na adduction, huwa mimi nashangaa kama msimamo. Hawa pia wanachukuliwa, watu wanapotezwa kiolelaolela. So mnawaonea, lakini mna matatizo wanasiasa. So ndo hapo nilipozungumza kwamba unapiga jibwa na nyumba ili hali inanuka nyama. So unaonea wananchi, hamtaki watu wakosoe, wakosoa ni balaa, ili hali mambo hayaendi sawa. So kwa kweli mimi nitaungana na hapo kwa Alex kwamba si lazima IBC, kwa sababu IBC imetumess up mara nyingi tu. Nadhani mchaguzi ambao unasemekana tulikuwa wa haki ni 2002. Chaguzi zingine zote ndio hizo. Kule enzi hizo za nyuma watu wanakimbia na mazunduku kwa misitu. So ukweli mimi nitasimama hapo kwa leo. Asante kwa ufunguzi.
Usiondoke, just wait kidogo,
Nipo
because kuna hot debate hapa. Tuko na Ayaga, ndugu wangu Ayaga, tunapambana hapo kwa sababu ana join TBIM, kwamba sikuwa najua kwamba yeye ni mtu wa TBIM, na nimefurahia sana kusikia hiyo. Anajishikilia kwa hiyo chama ya mashetani inaitwa ODM kidogo, lakini ndugu wetu Babu Owino akifungua chama chake cha TBIM, Ayaga atajoin. Sawa sawa, Ayaga, kuna maswali mingi unafaa kuendelea nazo. Endelea ndugu yangu.
Thank you very much. I don't think if I have a lot of questions. Niko tu na shida moja. You know, maybe the way tu Alex amesema, the way nasema hizi vitu watu wanaona mimi na defend Ruto. I will never be there. I was never there before and I will never be there. Na hata kitu saa hii inaleta mimi niko na utofauti kidogo na chama changu cha ODM yenye sijai kuwa nao na utofauti ni kuingia kwa Kasongo, na nilianza kutofautia kukuwa na tofauti na chama last year when they call for that election ya kuvaa sufuria. Nilikataa tukiwa kule kwa Bernard, nikapigwa kisiasa mbaya sana, nikalimwa kisiasa, nikalimwa kama kitu kingine, lakini nilisimama nikasema hii maandamano ni ovyo, watu watakufa, vitu zitaharibika. Baadaye huyu jamaa mimi namjua na namuelewa, ndio maana niko ODM hapa na sijai ama ataenda huko, na alienda. The gods of this land vindicates me. So ndio maana mimi nikapoti ya Gen Z. You know, ukitaka kuanza maandamano ya revolution, let us have something that we have and we achieve it. Do you know why the Gen Z revolution succeeded? Many people, if you ask them, they will tell you, you know, it was not called by wanasiasa, it was God made, it was a man made, sijui what. That thing succeeded because the target was one: reject the finance bill. Even from the church, you see, we had the goal is there. You want to score, and and people scored it. The maandamano I opposed is after that we have actually fallen the finance bill. Yeah, people started coming with such small things. Ruto must go to the street. I can't support those things. If tomorrow's maandamano is about Ruto must go, I will support it. But if you hide about this small abduction, then those people are released tomorrow, and then that tomorrow you think you will create and come up with another thing. Those are confused element in maandamano. Maandamano must have a goal. You must have a goal from the word go. If it is we don't want the president, we want to chase the president. Like Bangladesh, they were never there. The economy was high. There were corruption. There were so many things, but Azina must go. That was the goal. That was the banner. Everything was reading that until she went to India. Yeah. Even this issue of IBC, we are talking about now electoral college. I'm watching a news here in Georgia where the same electoral college issue has actually removed the popular president. She's a lady, and now bring a communist one through this thing called electoral college. You know, we can't just borrow something from somewhere to toa US tukalete hapa Kenya. Lazima tuchunguze if it will work here. The Georgia today is in turmoil by just bringing something from the West because it's working in US. They thought it will work for them. It's now working against the people. The majority of people who voted for that president are now the crying fool in the streets. I think they are doing maandamano every night. Yeah, in Georgia. So I'm telling people, even what we need to do now, let us ensure that we have the strong institutions. When we have strong institutions, we will not need to go to the streets. You remember when there was a problem in United States, in Capitol Hill, the Trump issue, the institutions were there, they solved that thing free and square. Today again, after battling all those cases, Trump is the president of that nation. So what I'm saying and what I'm suggesting, sending people to die in the street sometimes is not the solution. But if we have to go to the street, I beg you, Kenyans, start a revolution with one word. If you go with abduction tomorrow, and Ruto is a smart man, the way you are told, he releases those people today by 4. They are released. You see a breaking news. You know, nobody will go to Maandamano because you are diverging attentions. Let us have a saying this year 2025, we are starting a Maandamano in January 1st on a new day, and the Maandamano will go on until Ruto leaves office. That is a Maandamano with an achieved goal, and I think people will go that direction. But hizi maandamano yetu sijui high cost of living, sijui uchumi, alafu then hii ikisucceed tena mtu anarauka kesho asubuhi no, now Ruto must go. It will not work. People will never be exhausted when the goal is not achieved. Venye tulisema reject, tulienda mpaka ikawa rejected. Wabunge wakadhani ni mchezo, lakini mwishowe tulisucceed na tukafika pale. That is my plea. But let us not say, because he's a smart man, he said he can finish that. Tomorrow you can see, everybody by 4 today is released. Now what are you going to say in the street? Because he knows he's not doing politics with all these abductions. I know it is bad, it is wrong, it is something that it is inhumane. Human beings should not be treated that way. But Ruto is a crook politician. People call him sijui shrewd politician, sijui smart, sijui what. Me, I always maintain my word is a crook. This crook is crook and is crook everywhere. He may release those people today in the evening, in the morning. You may see the news breaking at 4. They are released. What are you going to do to the street tomorrow at 7? So let us have an objective tukienda kwa maandamano, and let us ensure that we go until we have the objective is achieved. That one I will support. But this one of Chabla, I started opposing from Raila's last year's one. I supported Gen Z until the bill was down. After that, I opposed the maandamano that follows. So even this one, I was opposing. I'm opposing because Ruto is smart. He may do something today in the morning that I will not be able to justify why I will be on the street by tomorrow at 8. Yeah. Lastly, tukipiga siasa, tupigange siasa, tukijua, tukikoroga ile siasa, bring a topic that will not hurt you. You know, some of us, we are very strong emotionally. Even if you call me uncircumcised, you call me kihi, you call me whatever, we are very strong politically because the kind of politics we are born and raised in. So if you bring a topic, tafadhali jua tu hiyo topic kuna mahali kikanyagwa isikuume, kwa sababu we cannot bring a comment here, for example, and now we want to discuss a comment, and when the answer is given in that comment, alafu unaashwa, naona kips anataka kunikata. Yeah, now let us avoid such. Let us just avoid such. Me, I'm a very strong-hearted politically. I don't have any political emotions. That's why if you throw anything along my line, I give you a perfect answer. Ukiumwa, ukinitusi, ukisema mimi venye mimi mlevi, ni sawa. Lakini tusilete ile ka topic. If you think you will corner Ayaga with that. Ayaga is very mature politically. Nimeteswa hapa maandamano, tiagas nimekula hapa, hata sinanga machozi na sikasirikangi. Ndio maana mpaka mimi peke yake saa hii sikasiriki venye Raila ameenda kufanya kazi na Ruto, because that was hiyo ni kitu ilikuwa iko. He worked with Uhuru Kenyatta, who did wonders to our people more than Uhuru Kenyatta. Ili niuma ile 2013 nikasema sita tena. Sasa hata hii watu naona saa hii wenye hawajamachua emotionally kwa politics ndio wanataka kuniua. Ayaga you support bad regime. Ayaga you do what? Ayaga you bad. Ayaga you heartless. Ayaga we ni mlevi. My friend, hainiumi. Raila kufanya kazi na Ruto, that is always what Raila does. Hata saa hii tukileta Gachagua na Kalonzo na washinde, hata Kalonzo atatafuta Raila before aende Kasarani. atatafuta huyu Raila before aende. Unaona, before aende, at least Uhuru alitafuta Raila after 5 years kama ana second term. Ruto amemtafuta na 2 years. Sasa Kalonzo atamtafuta before aende hata Kasarani. Thank you.
Ayaga, one
Wait,
minute.
I don't want him to leave. I don't want him to leave. I don't want him to leave. Let me ask him a couple of questions. Yeah.
Oh, no, utamuuliza. Nilikuwa nataka tu pia kumuuliza kidogo, even as he answers your question, nataka aniambie, does now that, so do you feel sorry that now that your most esteemed person is with Ruto, and for what merit is he with him there? And do you think Raila Odinga calling for the end of abduction, and he is always with the person who is spearheading those abduction, is not like speaking from the two ends of the mouth? Because I want you to help me understand all these things as you are being handled by Keep. Keep, go ahead.
Okay, let me answer that. Thank you, Kip. Wacha nijibu hiyo kwanza. Wacha tu nijibu hiyo kwanza alafu nijibu. Let me tell you this one thing. You know, if you support a politician, study that politician. I'm telling people, even now I'm saying I'm going Babu Owino's side. I'm studying Babu Owino. From the day he started politics in university, I'm studying him. My friend Raila Odinga amekuwa akiingia kwa serikali from 1997. Once again with Kibaki after the worst of worst to 8 to 7 post-election violence. And again, yeah.
Now that you seem to have understood Raila Odinga and ni mtu anakuanga kwa serikali, for what objective? Like anaendanga kwa serikali kufanya nini?
Okay. I was coming there. So when I was supporting Raila Odinga, that's why I always don't want to discuss Raila Odinga. I am always seeing the people say, you know, I used to support Raila Odinga, but now I know, you know, emotion weka kwa kitanda nani. Siasa hata usiweke kwa lungs, siasa weka kwa mapua hapa juu. Ikifanya hata imeenda, imetoka, na hiyo imeisha hivyo. So Raila always, that is his politics. Once he fight with somebody, he call that person enemy, he works with him. That's what they do. That is what he does. So I'm very sorry for those who are born in juzi ama wameanza ku understand politics juzi hii Raila akiingia kwa serikali ya Ruto. I'm very sorry for you, but I'm not in any emotion. I'm not even shocked. I'm not even in any delusion that thing I can sleep and say all politicians are whatever. That is his kind of politics, and he will join. And even somebody told me the other day, now it is Raila Odinga is the president who is serving his 4th term, because maybe that's his politics. He want power with money, but with no responsibility. If Ruto fails, somebody will say Raila Odinga was the president, but he's enjoying the traps of power. Now he has captured the finance, he's there at Attorney General and the energy sector. He's the one controlling. But if Ruto fails, nobody will question Raila because he was not the president. Same to when Uhuru Kenyatta was the president. Everybody blames Uhuru Kenyatta, yet Raila was there and controlling everything behind the scene.
Ayaga, thank you for confirming that Raila Odinga is a conman. Can you
Raila Odinga is now the 4th serving president. I have studying that, and this is the 4th time. That's why, for me, I am not even shocked. I am realizing that Kenyans of my age are coming to know the tricks of Raila Odinga now.
Okay.
Even we can just imagine.
It's beyond repair in you. Tulia kidogo sasa. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So for me,
handle your guy.
No. I'm beginning to understand Ayaga. Najua nilikuwa na misunderstand. I really misunderstood him. Before Misimamo and Wangira come in. Ayaga, because you have the know-how, because I've seen one of your brothers, Songa, are in preparation to joining Babu Owino. That's my first question. When is Babu Owino going to start this party? Because I think we saw Ruto forming UDA before his term was finished. That was 2 years before his term was finished as a Jubilee person. That's question number one. Ayaga, wait, relax. That's the first question is, when is Babu Owino going to form TB party, which will actually kill the dream of Ruto to unite the Nilotes against the Bantus? That is exactly what Ruto is doing. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. It's very tribal. Number two, would the loss of Raila Odinga, if it happens, of the AUC seats, cause him to come back to vie for presidency in 2027? And will that cause a split within ODM other than Babu Owino's, whereby there are those who will still want to be involved with Ruto? These are the Johos, the Paranyas wing, and so on and so forth. I would still want to work with Ruto, Akina Junet Mohammed, and actually the rest who are genuine ODM supporters. Would that cause a split, meaning that ODM will be split into three, which means the Babu Owino wing, those ODM diehard will never go with Babu Owino because Baba is Baba to them. And then for those who will still want to work with Ruto in 20, because I'm seeing that happening, whether we like it or not. Even if Raila Amolo Odinga wins, I think ODM is going to split. So I'm just asking, what will happen to ODM? So answer the first question and the second one, then allow the other two guys to continue. But I'm beginning to understand Ayaga. Mi nilikuwa na kugonga, sikuwa najua your reasoning. We're not too far back. It's just that you given up. I have not.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. The party, maybe the the TB may not be the name of that party. The TB may be the slogan. So, the party with the slogan TB is coming around the end of February after the election of AU. We have our target, bado tunapima, tunaongea na vijana. So by end of February or early March, the year 2025, we are moving there. The second question, we are not doing a party to split the ODM. We are coming as young youths because it is a very big thing. You can see even the people like Sifona have gone quiet. And in the coast, we will substitute Joho with somebody called Mohaji Chopevu, also was mistreated in UDA and went quiet. So those are just few. And we have Nesola Soda. We have at least that party is taking shape. And there is talks that Ndidi, the son of Nyoro, kutoka Kiharu, Murang'a County, will be on board in that party, and it will be a party that will actually reflect the face of younger generation of Kenya, in Kenya, and many young politicians, even Peter Salasia. Peter Salasia.
Hold on. Let me make you laugh. Let me make you laugh. Umesema hivyo mpaka Laban ameamka bana. Laban is Baba diehard. Hebu endelea kuchoma.
So sichomi, unajua mimi unajua hata ODM wakati niliwaambia last time walinitusi sana kwa ile maandamano, huwa mlivaa sufuria, ulisema hapa we ulienda, mi sikuenda. mi nakuambia, so mimi hiyo tunaongea kama tunajipanga kama vijana, and I'm telling these young people, let us drop these political emotions things. That's why sometimes I see you mukihama Ruto. I'm even wondering if I try to be calm kidogo, mnanitusi, mnaniita majina, mnanifanya nini? Mimi tunajipanga. ODM tunatoka polepole. Saa hii bado tuko ndani. Ikifika huko mbele, because Raila Odinga is now going to AU. People like Laban, they should just come back to the reality. Those are my brothers. I will speak with them personally. I will look for Laban. I will call you very soon. If you are within Nairobi, I will call you. I will have a sit down with you. I will tell you, yes, you can't be a diehard like Baba more than us. Sisi tumekula tiagasi town, my friend. I remember the day we went to we went for Raila at from the airport. The Baba while you were away. My friend, I was in around second year. We were almost killed past Nyayo Stadium coming to Uhuru Park. So I'm telling you guys, let us stop these political emotions. Let us mature politically. Young people of this country are consulting. That's why I'm saying Gachagua cannot be an option. He has tested power, tumemjua. Martha Karua tumemjua. Kalonzo Musyoka tumemjua. Hata huyu Matiang'i mnasema anasikia wengine tushamjua. So we may bring a new face of young generation leadership that will shock this country. And this 2025, be watchful. That's why I'm telling you, I'm telling you this because I have studied William Ruto. The reason why I am opposed to this street mandamano, I have studied William Ruto. William Ruto work perfectly when there is a noise and kelele. Ukimwacha tu the same way Raila withdrew from the street last year in March and leave him to work and nobody was opposing him, he messes a lot. Leave this idiot to mess by June. People will just rise from civil servant, everybody. That's why I have studied him. Ndio maana ukiona mimi I oppose to this. Leave this person. If he can't work in silent. Mukinyamaza tu, lakini mukimweka na kelele, ataenda huko kwao waseme nataka kujenga barabara, lakini unaona wameniwekea maandamano ndio sasa na watu unaona people will believe him because there are people who will believe him. So I'm begging you guys, mimi tungewacha huyu jamaa, hata hii maandamano ikuwe tu a big issue mpaka people from the government, we cannot say we young people we will go to the street. We need to start by the civil servant. No plane taking off, no doctor going to hospital, no teachers will go to school on next Monday, but nobody will wake up anywhere to go anywhere saying, if you don't stop abducting our kids, that's how revolution is. Lawyers should not go to courts. Judges should not go to work. Everybody, that's how the revolution in Bangladesh actually succeeded. It never succeeded with the protest in the streets alone when the other government workers are going to work. Because the people who abducted, mama yao na baba yao, pengine ni polisi, pengine mtu ni civil somewhere. So we need a general understanding in this country. So that's my point. People don't understand me. Maybe one day in future watu watani understand. Thank you. Wacha niachie misemo na ndugu yangu Wangira pia ameingia hapa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ayaga. Because we're about to close the show so that we can continue tomorrow. I'm so happy. I want Msimamo and Gerard, the professor. Mimi namitanga professor. Wangira is my professor, to come and contribute. Mimi fresh sana kusikia. I don't care about your opinions about maandamano. The parts that I'm so interested in what Ayaga is talking about is a splinter, whether you like it or not, is a splinter from ODM. We are tired of ODM. Hiyo kitu imenifurahisha sana. If you're doing this in February, I'm so happy. I am grateful for the fact that the young youth or the young wing of ODM is going to be split. We are tired of Raila Amolo Odinga, and whether you like it or not, Ayaga, we are happy with what you're about to do. We are very happy, and I will help you promote the chama that is going to have TBIM as a slogan, to get rid of this nonsense of all Kanu guard dogs out of our politics. We are tired of these gangsters coming to ruin our country, and I'm welcoming your party to come in and build their voice for the Gen Zs of the old ODM regime. We had New Kanu. Now we want you people to come in and get rid of Ruto. Asante sana Ayaga, leo umenifurahisha. ODM out. Tunasemangaje? Njoho tawe. Opiyo Ndaya tawe. Oparanya tawe. Mbadi tawe, Raila tawe, Ruto tawe, Uhuru tawe, Raila tawe, kila mtu tawe. Msimamo, ingia tafadhali. This is the happiest day I've ever had. Yo kitu ya Babu Owino iende mbele.
Asante sana ndugu yangu Akip na Joram hapa na ndugu zangu wote wale ambao Yaga na wengine. Yaga mimi nilikuwa namsikiza nikamwelewa vizuri sana, na nakubaliana na yeye kwamba Raila yeye ndio rais kwa awamu nne. Yuko sahihi, lakini wasiwasi wangu ni kwamba sidhani kwamba mageuzi ya kweli yatakuja, yani yatapatikana kupitia uchaguzi ama kupitia muungano wa kisiasa ama chama ama vuguvugu. Nadhani mageuzi ya kweli haswa ni pale ambapo nakubaliana na Yaga tena kwa mara nyingine kwamba kila mtu ajitokeze. So kabla tupange vyama, tupange chaguzi, mageuzi ya kweli naamini yale ya kung'atua mtu kwa mamlaka kwa kazi chafu anayoifanya, kisha baadaye tukatengeneza nchi ambao kwa kweli haswa tutaweza sasa kutengeneza vyama kama hivi ambavyo anazungumzia Yaga, kwamba sasa tunatengeneza vuguvugu aidha la vijana na tuweze kulipa support na mambo kama hayo. Lakini kama ni vijana kuchuana tena na hawa wote, mimi naona ni mchezo tu wa paka na panya. Huyu anataka kukata kura ya huyu na hii ni michezo ya kisiasa tu, so si wakati wake. Sasa mimi kimtazamo wangu nadhani ni wakati wa kuweza kutafuta jinsi gani ya kuweza kung'atua mtu katika mamlaka, si kwa kumng'atua kupitia ballot. Hii itakuwa ngumu, but ni kumwambia kabla hata umalize muda wako, haswa tumesinywa na matendo yako na vitu vyako, sasa unafaa uende. Laiti labda vuguvugu hili lingepatikana na la kuweza kuwapa Wakenya civic education ya kuweza kutoka wote kwa pamoja kutoana na huu udhalimu ambao upo. Na nikisema hii iliyopo, basi hata na hawa wanasiasa ambao wametuchezea shere miaka na miaka tukiwa tumetia imani zetu huko, kisha mwisho wa siku tunaishia kwamba kumbe sisi ni kanga wenye chongo tunafukulia wenye macho. Mwananchi anabaki ni kanga mwenye chongo anafukulia wenye macho, kwamba watu wanarudi tena upya kuweza kufanya kazi na kuweza kunyamazisha ndoto na matarajio ya Wakenya. Asante. Mimi sina mengi kaka Kipu, but naamini mageuzi ya kweli ni kung'atua mtu katika madaraka, ndio fundisho. Huyu jamaa aling'atuliwa kabla ya muda wake kwa kazi mbovu, kisha watu wakatengeneza nchi. Lakini hii ya kutengeneza vyama mapema na kujipanga na 2007, kimtazama wangu bado still mambo ni yale yale tu. Hela kizidi, basi mwenye hela ndo mwenye nacho. Asante.
Thank you very much, future MP for NARC Kenya through huko bara. Huyu ndio atakuwa MP wetu wa NARC Kenya. Hiyo hapo nimekubandika hapo. Msimamo tutakutengenezea kazi huko.
Asante. Asante.
Sio
Asante.
ati wewe ni mtu wetu wa NARC Kenya huko bara.
Asante.
Sasa tunakuja kwa profesa atuambie mambo yake moja tatu hapo. Wangira, tafadhali ingia. Thank you, Wangira.
Oh,
Professor.
thank you, Kip. Thank you, Njeru. It's a pleasure meeting Msimamo here once again. You know, I don't know whether any of you guys here are friends of mine on Facebook. I remember 4 months ago, if I'm not very precise, I was among the first people to have posted on my Facebook page that, you know, if Babu Owino wanted to survive politically, it was time for him to leave what I termed a sinking ship in the name of ODM. Because where I stood and where I stand, you know, I see ODM as a sinking ship. Because if this ship is being steered by people like Wakina, you know, Robert Alai, people like Wakina Peter Kaluma, you know, those are the people who are steering this ship, then definitely it is a ship that is sinking. And for for any person who wants to think forward, then it is time to debunk from this ship and think on getting into another ship. And I'm happy to hear Ayanga saying that Babu Owino could be thinking of taking the same direction. And I've been following his posts on Facebook, and they collaborate. What my brother Ayanga here is saying, that it might not take long before Babu Owino disembarks from ODM and joins another ship. There's only one point that I want to put forward to my brother Ayanga. The battle we have ahead is not a battle for only the youth. It's a battle for every Kenyan, whether you are an old man like me, who is now in my 50, whether you're a young man, I don't know how old Ayanga is, or whether you're a woman. It's our battle, and we must own this battle. Because we must agree that as a people of Kenya, we have one political enemy that we must deal with. The rest are our friends, because even in politics they say that the enemy of your enemy is your friend. So we know who our enemy is. So everybody else should be our friend. So this movement that that uh, should be the movement that people are talking about putting into place must be an inclusive movement that will bring on board everybody who is ready to confront this particular enemy, the enemy that has returned Kenya, where we were in the 1980s. And there is a very good case study to it. I remember in 2002, when we were planning to remove, the Nyayo regime of Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Nobody thought that, people like Wakina Timamba could have, ganged up with Raila Odinga with Wakina Mwai Kibaki, to topple, what was the Kanu regime there. But because, at that particular time, they had a common enemy in the name of, Daniel Arap Moi. It did not matter, who you are bringing on board, so long as, he was going to help you, achieve this particular goal of, dealing with this common enemy. And we seem to be at equally the same scenario here. Our common enemy is one that has been joined by other two guys in the name of Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, So, we have three guys, who seem to be the enemies of the people of Kenya, because, they are reading, from another script away from, what the majority of Kenya believe in. So, on board, we must bring on any other person who is ready to help us, or defeat this other team come to any other time. I don't know the means that we are going to use, to achieve this thing. Other people are saying that, it's not even a matter. This guy, finishes the first half. The other people who are saying that, 2027. So, irrespective of how we plan to achieve it, but, if we are positioned to achieve whatever we want to achieve, then we must not discriminate and say that we only want a youth movement. We must bring every Kenyan on board, so that we put our energy together, and by putting this energy together, it will help us to propel this movement. And at the end of the day, we will be in a position to achieve what we want to achieve, or remove this common enemy that we have in this country, and place Kenya in the right hand that it's supposed to be in. That's all perhaps that I had to say.
Kip, naweza ongezea kitu kidogo hapa kabla nitimuliwe.
Okay, ni sawa, unaweza ongezea, lakini tuko na dakika 5 tufunge kituo, so mnaweza ongea mkimalizia tafadhali.
Okay, sawa.
Wacha tumalizie tukisema kwamba Kalonzo haendi anywhere. Kalonzo ni mtu ambaye amepatiwa kikeo. Is what Alex alikuwa ameongea earlier on, is that bull that the Kamba nation cannot get rid of, and it's the person that Martin Makandeto cannot let go of, because we did not talk about him today. Amesikia machungu juu tujaongea juu ya Kalonzo leo. Kalonzo and other Azimio leaders are going to do a demonstration, which is the same formula as Raila Amolo Odinga in January 2025. again another scheduled maandamano. So Martin, endelea kutetea rafiki yako Kalonzo. Wewe si mtu wa ODM, unatudanganyanga hapo, wewe ni mtu wa Wiper. Msimamo malizia hapo.
Mimi kwa kuongezea ni hivi, nilikuwa namaanisha kwamba Babu Owino, Ndini Nyoro, nani wote hawa wametoka katika mizizi fulani, yani katika ngome zao. Kila ilivyo, kama mimi namjua Raila, Babu Owino anamjua zaidi, na kitu kama unamjua Raila, Babu Owino anamjua Raila zaidi. Alafu pia tukumbuke kitu kimoja kwamba wanasiasa sometimes upanga huyu akasimama hapa kuweza kukata edha kura kwa kuweza kumdhibiti mwingine. Yani wana mbinu nyingi ambazo wanazitumia ili mradi tu watu hadae machoni tuone labda ni mahadui, na kweli huyu anasimama katika kweli, kisha mwisho ule tuliyemwamini unakuta naye amebadilika kwa sababu amemaliza kazi yake, amechibu goli yake na wamerudiana tena. Na ndio maana mimi wasiwasi wangu nikasema hivi, kwanza tungeng'ang'ana na kidonda kupona, ndivyo kiachana na inzi na kidonda kupona, tupige hii serikali kwanza, kwa sababu ni serikali ya Jubilee, ni serikali ya ODM na ni serikali ya UDA. Wangine amezungumza hapa, hawa ndio mahadui wetu, na true nakubaliana naye 100% kwamba hao ndio mahadui. So na kwa sababu amejificha katika huyu jamaa ambaye yupo katika madaraka sasa hivi, hapa ndipo wacha tungoi huyu, tutafute mbinu ya njia ambayo hakika italeta watu wote on board, civil servant, wale viongozi wa dini wa Kenya, everybody. Tutoe huyu jamaa kwanza, kwa sababu tukimtimua kabla wakati wake ni bora zaidi. Ndivyo tutapanga upya siasa ya Kenya na nani ambaye tunaweza mweka katika uongozi kutokana na rekodi yake jinsi ilivyo. Mimi hayo ndo maoni yangu, lakini kwa sasa hivi mimi sijikiti zaidi kwenye vyama, kwa sababu bado tutongozwa na wale wanasiasa. Nani asiyemwelewa Joho alivyokuwa akimponda Ruto? Tazama sasa hivi, nani asiyekuwa Ondaya alivyokuwa anamponda Ruto? Tutazame sasa hivi. So tusihadaike kwanza, ni mapema sana kuweza kupanga, kimtazamo wangu, kuweza kupanga vyama kwanza, wakati tunajua linalotupiga ni lipi. Tumalizana lenye linatuumiza, kisha alafu tuangalie njia mwafaka. Asante.
Njaro, are you still there?
Yes, niko hapo. I think
yeah, we're finished.
Bwana Kip, sijui kama kuna show ingine
no, I don't think so, unless the other guys have opened. You're the last one to close.
Sijui
so
kama
if you can play
ile ngambo ingine ya Afrika ni aje?
No, nasema ucheze hiyo video ya mwisho ya opposition leaders going to maandamano in 2027. Nimeweka hapo link. It will be good to close with that.
Okay.
And subscribe to Wake FM TV, please.
Wacha ni opposition.
Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has continued to pile pressure on the government to produce Kenyans who are said to have been abducted by hooded armed men. Rigathi was speaking in Western Kenya, where a section of opposition leaders threatened to lead demonstrations in January next year if the missing persons are not found. Here's NTV's Ruth Sarmoi Chesenge with the details.
A day after police disrupted a peaceful prayer meeting attended by Rigathi Gachagua in Shamata, Nyandarua County, Gachagua shifted his attention to Western Kenya. There, the leaders called on the government to produce the abducted Kenyans.
Since the president spoke now, it's almost 64 hours. The people have not been released. We would like these young people to spend the new year with their families. So, Mr. President, you said utakomesha, lakini hawa watoto bado hufika nyumbani.
General Cleophas Malala threatened to lead Kenyans into street protests if missing Kenyans will not be released in the next 2 days.
Kama itafika mwaka mpya tarehe 1 na watoto hawa hawajapatikana, haitakuwa tena ni kumwomba atekeleze yale aliahidi kule Homa Bay. Itakuwa sasa ni Wakenya wajitokeze.
Januari tujitoe wote. Hakuna kuendelea na biashara ya kawaida kama mambo ya abduction hajaisha. Kama William Ruto anataka kutuabduct sisi wote kama taifa, tukutane kwa barabara, atuabduct sisi wote, tujue kwamba abduction ni jambo la kawaida hapa Kenya.
While championing the youth to continue with online activism, Gachagua rallied Kenyans to register themselves as voters ahead of the 2027 elections.
Majenzi mko, kazi mnafanya kwa mtandao ni mzuri sana na tunapongeza nyinyi na muendelee. Mtaendelea. Lakini mtandao peke yake haitoshi. Tunataka mjiandikishe kama wapiga kura. Wale watu ambaye watakomboa Kenya hii, wenye kuamua Kenya itaongozwa namna gani.
The second deputy president also criticized the ongoing interruptions of his meetings by government officials, describing it as an act of desperation.
Those acts of trying to stop our meetings make the people more agitated by the government, and they become very rebellious. So to us, it's neither here nor there. It's just an act of desperation.
Ruth Sarmoi Chesenge, NTV.
Whether it's bonfires and marshmallows or a checking and savings.
Jero, I knew you'd like that to finish your show because of the topic. You finish your thoughts and then we close the show. Yeah. I knew that was going with the topic of Gachagua. So hata Gachagua anataka maandamano.
Na hata acknowledge my Gen Z. Yeah, Kip, I think I'm proud for what we have done today. Na ningejaribu kuheshimisha hii group imekuwa hapa leo. There are so many people who have joined us today. Tomorrow I will come a little bit early. So kesho by 7 p.m. Kenyan time nitakuwa online. So muingie, so but pia nitaangalia hizo vitu zingine. So if maybe this friendly shows could start, I could also rethink about that. So nitaulizia. So Keep, sijui kama ya Kenya Revolutionary is a regular one at that time, sababu niliona walianza mapema.
No, not at the moment. Najua saa zingine, is a new father. You must congratulate him. He's a new father. So
Okay, I will congratulate him.
Sometimes he has to.
Okay, ni sawa, ina shida. So yeah, so kesho I will come a little bit early. So ili tusukume ili gurudumu. So mi Keep, sina jambo lingine.
Kuna ile ya Benson pia. Kuna ile ya Benson, brother Benson.
Okay, Benson anafungua saa ngapi?
Inakuanga Kenya time at about 6. So
6 p.m.
Join brother Benson. And
I
then,
think kama atafungua kesho unaweza nitumia message. If we start before 7 p.m. send me a message, inaweza ingia kwake. I would also want to enter.
So
yeah, at least
guys, support all these other channels.
Yeah, hizi platform lazima tusupport kabisa. Wale wajafinya subscribe munafinya hapo, and we continue. Yes, Mary anasema kama Njiro I will join watu wangu. Yeah. Mary, actually that is one of the discussions tumekuwa tukisema hapa, tusikuwe tunafanya shows jioni sana. So that is why unasikia sasa nikisema nakuja hadi I will be coming 7. Watu waliniambia there's no need ya kungojea ati news ya Kenya tutafuta. Watu walisema already wako na stories za kuongea. Kipu umesikia? Watu walisema mnangojea naye nini? Uingieni hapa 7 bwana. Tuko na story mbaya sana. Nikauliza what do you mean? Yeah, watu walisema wako na story. Anyway, shalom. Kesho ni siku, Kenya remains. Let's watch hiyo maandamano ya kesho. Let's hope itatokezea. Cameras as usual. Keep, unajua, we have to tell our people, cameras.
Protect yourselves. Protect yourselves, protect yourselves, protect yourselves, protect yourselves.
Yeah, tuchungane, kuwa na kapen knife mfuko, vitu kama hiyo. Usiende tu hivi tu kimalengelenge. At least kuwa na kakitu mfuko, kitu inaweza shtua. So usiende kimalengelenge. Hizo ni vitu za kujiprotect pole pole. Na tuangaliane, kesho wanaweza kuwa na mpango ya okay, Peter Moiruri anasema watakuwa nyuma ya tent. So in case maandamano itakuwa, we could also decide to be talking about it as it happens. So hiyo nitaangalia that one. Sorry?
By the way, Njero, even if it does not work out, it's okay. We'll try again.
However it will be. Lakini tuchungane, kama kuna jamaa atatokezea in fact wale watu tunafaa kuangalia, because kesho najua they could unleash a group ya kuabduct watu. Kesho at least kunafaa kuchomwa kama wawili. At least let's be tuangalie, kwa sababu hao watu wa kuabduct najua atatumwa. Tuangalie hapo. We target there. At least hata tukionyesha 1 or 2 Kanyoni Wang'ethe, it is important. Anyway, wacha tusimamishe kwa leo.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
See you later, bro. Bye.